Hello, everybody, and welcome to... Great. Thank you, Elliot. Thank you for ruining the intro. Do you know what? I'm keeping it in. Hello, everybody, and welcome to episode 14 of the Grumpy Gaming Weekend podcast on the 20th of July. We are again tailorless. There's no
Just
tailor.
the two of us. We can make it if we try.
Great. Now the YouTube video is going to get copyright strike. Thank you, Elliot. Appreciate
Why would
it.
you let me? I was going to do one line and you were bopping, so I was like, yeah, okay. Keep going.
It's fine. If there's an advert before this video, you know why. But how are we all doing? It's just us. Taylor is camping. She's
playing
off.
Call of Duty. She's camping.
Yeah, she's camping. She just sat in the corner in the house with the shotgun. No, she's camping in the IRL. Like, have you heard of that? Have you ever heard of the IRL?
In the wilderness, but there's PvP there. I don't like it.
There is PvP. There's also PvE as well. So she's out there. I mean, she's in Canada. She's probably enjoying the leaves of
the beautiful
the wilderness
of mooses headbutting each other.
Is it mooses or meese?
Mooses? Is it just like pasta and it's just moose? The plural of moose is moose.
Why would you choose pasta of all of those? Like,
because pasta.
I mean, like sheep would have made way more sense though.
A bit of pasta, some pasta.
You have a pasta. You can't have two pastas, to be fair. No, what about creepy pastas? Creepy pastas is plural of creepy pasta.
Okay, I don't know anymore. But is it a prequel if it's not the same story arc?
Apparently, according to the comments from last week, yes, it is. Yeah, they all agreed with me.
I really lost that argument last week.
Well, when I say they all, one person agreed with me, but nobody disagreed with me. So yes, technically, I win. Thanks, comments.
They don't want to get banned. That's what it
Appreciate it. That's true. Yeah, that is true. Can't really ban on YouTube. Can you ban people on YouTube? I know you can just stop their comments from showing up, but I don't know. Anyway, what have you been up to since it's just me and you? What have you been playing this week, dude? Have you been playing anything? I've not really seen you that much. I've been playing
Assassin's Creed Origins.
Oh, that's why I've not been seeing you. Yeah.
Also, Enter the Gungeon, and I'm still playing.
Wait, when did you play Enter the Gungeon?
I played it a couple of times this week.
What,
not
on stream.
No,
right, okay.
Just personal gaming.
Personal.
I've also really got back into Defense of the Ancients, like the MOBA that I'm sure you're aware of. But
why didn't you just say Dota? Like,
because I don't.
Why did you have to say the whole name? Like, no one says the whole name.
People watching might not know what Dota 2 is, because it's a relatively small game.
Comments, raise your hands if you've never heard of Dota. If any of you have never heard of Dota, tell me in the comments, and I will find you, and I will kill you. No, really, but like everyone's heard of Dota. Come on, everyone's heard of Dota.
I've been playing ranked as well, which is sweaty.
Sweaty.
I remember people being nicer, and I don't know whether everyone got meaner or it's just because I forgot how mean everyone was.
Or maybe you got worse at the game and therefore they're being meaner to you because of it.
I have stopped playing for I don't know, 6 months or so. So I'm definitely worse than I was. But
fair. I like MOBAs to a degree. Like, I don't really like the shops and things in them. That's why I really liked HOTS. It was just simple. And I know a lot of people are gonna be like, oh, get good, but I love the simplicity of HOTS. Like, I didn't like the movement style in Dota, and in League of Legends I didn't like the shop system. It just seemed overly convoluted. Like, I just want to hit people, and that's all I want to do, you know?
So Dota is for me anyway, this is the way I see it. Like, you have Dota, and then you have League is easy Dota, and then you have HOTS is easy League. Because League of Legends has less mechanics. Like, you can't deny your own creeps, and the shop is slightly less complicated and things like that. And whereas HOTS has nothing.
This is my thing though. Like, I like a complex game, like a deep mechanics game now and again, but I don't like that kind of complex deep mechanics game. Like, if I'm playing that kind of game, if I'm fighting against other people, I just want to fight. Like, I want it as simple as possible. You know, I just want to do the fighting and that. I like tactics, but not in that setting, you know.
There's a game, I can't remember what it's called at the moment. I played it at Insomnia when it was getting announced, but it's Dota and League and stuff, but without there's no laning, there's no shop, you play around and you fight each other. Yeah. And then at the end of the round, you gain a skill point. So you can choose a skill point out of a range of skills for your character.
Yeah.
And I cannot remember what the game's called, but that's really fun.
We'll put it in the comments when we remember.
It takes out the the grind from the game. So obviously there's no overall progression. It's you play a game and then the next game you start from scratch again. This is like that, but instead of a 20-minute or I've had Dota games that's an hour and a quarter. It's just you go in, you team fight the other team. It's 2v2 or 3v3, and you just you have scraps, and then it's oh, you won the round because you beat them more. And then done, and that's really fun. You might when I work out what it is,
Yeah.
I'll call you onto it. It's
When
free
you
to play.
actually... Oh, okay. Most of them are now, aren't they? Really, most MOBAs are. They make their money on skins and stuff, which is absolutely fine if you're selling skins directly and not in loot boxes. But anything else? Anything else been up to? Anything been streaming?
Oh no, not really. I've not really been streaming anything else. I streamed a bit of Rainbow. Oh no, that was a week before. I streamed some Rainbow Six because I was just like, I was drinking. I was playing with friends. I was like, we're gonna broadcast this, and that was the whole plan. Fair. It was all right.
Sometimes those streams are like the fun ones, like where you don't plan it and you don't worry about it. You just go in and like, let's have fun. They can be really good.
It was a good laugh, and like my friends really like being on stream. I've had to teach them all TOS because
yeah, Twitch.
Oh, yeah. Twitch.
Good old Twitch with their rules and their
It does make sense. Like if you're going to put people in a VC, you can't just be like, well, it's not me saying it. It's like,
yeah,
it's not.
That has happened in the past as well, where people have like, well, I didn't say it, so it's fine. No. You have a level of responsibility for anybody you bring onto your stream. I mean, there's obviously like if you're in a game, an online game, and somebody just comes up to you and starts saying stuff, if you know, as long as you take action, it's fine. But like,
and same in chat, isn't it? Like if someone in your chats against TOS, you have to squelch it. Like you can't just be like, whoa, I can't control chat. You have to. It's like you have to time them out.
Like anything on Twitch, there's no like hard and fast rule on that one as far as I can see. Like the TOS doesn't really say you have to ban somebody if they do stuff, but at the same time it's like you just use common sense. Like if somebody's spamming racism or whatever in your chat and you don't ban them, it's almost like you're promoting it or accepting it. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of like a common sense. Would you allow that? Do you know what I mean? On your site? Like probably not. So
in my community anyway.
Yeah, like, exactly. No normal person would, but like I'm just saying, like I don't think it's more of a you must ban X person. I think it's more of a, well, if you don't ban them, kind of looks like you're allowing it, you know? So it's kind of like it's a gray area, like a lot of TOS on Twitch, to be fair, on YouTube, you know, a lot of TOSs are gray area. I wouldn't
want the rules to be like that. I don't want the rules to be like, okay, this isn't it. Like I like at the moment where it's kind
said this before. Like
we definitely have the conversation.
Yeah, we have, because if the rules are hard and fast, then there's certain situations where that rule maybe being broken is acceptable, and you then have to ban that person, or the other way around, you know. So it's like they need to be gray areas, because somebody, for example, I mean, look at that controversy we had a few weeks ago with the World of Warcraft race that is spelled NAGA, which I'm just not going to say just in case. But this is what I'm saying. We're at this point now where we can't even say Yeah, exactly. We can't even say World of Warcraft races because you might get banned. Anyway,
as well. Like anyway, what have you been playing?
What have I been playing? I am. What else? I played Visage.
You played Visage, which I like. I was there for the start of it, then I went out, and I was like, this game, because the first chapter wasn't that bad. This one's way scarier.
I don't know. I think I don't know. I disagree with that. So if anyone hasn't played Visage, if you like horror, go and check out the trailer before you play it, because I love horror. I've played all sorts of horror games. We usually do Scary Game Thursdays on my Twitch channel, so like I'm used to horror games, but no horror game has ever terrified me like this one has, and it's just so good. It's so scary. They get everything right. And the second chapter, by the way, the game is in early access, so they're releasing chapters over time. I mean, I kind of wish the whole game was out and I could just play it and move on. But at the same time, it's kind of nice when a new chapter comes out and I can try it out. The game has got bugs and glitches. Again, it's in early access, which isn't there. But the first chapter I found really scary, but then it kind of sort of petered off. Like it was really, really scary. Then it kind of sort of was all right after that. And this one seems to be the opposite way. This one's ramping up. It keeps getting worse. And I don't want to spoil anything in the story, but the game is very, very good at basically every game where I'm like, this horror game should have had this, like Visage does that. So it's just a really off the top of my head quick example. There's a load of moments where you'll be walking through the house and you'll turn around and there'll just be somebody stood there, and they don't jump scare you, they don't audio like at you, but they're just there. But that's even scarier than a jump scare, because there's been a couple of times when I've not even noticed them and I've been walking towards them, I'm like, oh my god, there's a dude there. Like there was a guy at the bottom of the stairs on chapter 2 where I was just walking through the corridor that I've been through 1,000 times, and I'm about to go down the stairs and I just saw the dude, and I don't know why, he was just stood there doing nothing, but it crapped me up. I was like, whoa. There's a lot of that subtle sort of in your face stuff. The second chapter is using a lot of mirrors, which is kind of cool. I like that a lot.
I remember you saying, playing one horror game, you were like, the scare that you most like is like when the mirrors like distort things. And it's like, oh, like
Yeah,
like
I love
we've had that conversation in your chat.
Well, there's mirrors in so many horror games where you look at the mirror and you're like, why is this mirror here? There's nothing there. And I've said that like what would be the creepiest thing to happen in a horror game for me would be like, there'd be like a mirror and you go towards the mirror and you looking it and then you like turn to the side and then there's just something there. And you didn't notice it at first, but it's there, and then you see it, and you're like, ah, which is really hard to pull off, because obviously if you make it too obvious, you're going to see it straight away, and if you make it not obvious enough, you might miss it. But I love that kind of subtle, that kind of subtle horror, and that's what Visage does really well. It does also do, like, over-the-top, like, oh my god, blood, and there, it does that as well, but really, really well. There's a lot of, you just turn around a corner and there's something there. So the first half of Visage as a game, everything's just slamming doors, lights flickering on and off, bumps in the night kind of thing, which really builds up the tension. And then as you get further on in the game, that's where you start to see the sort of like supernatural elements to the game. And it's such a really, really well made game. If you take out the bugs and the early access rubbish, then the game, like the theme and the atmosphere and the horror of that game is just fantastic. I'm really enjoying it. I haven't finished the second chapter, so I'm going to finish that next Thursday, but I'm really enjoying it. It really terrifies me. I actually had to take a break.
Yeah, that was quite early. You were like an hour in and you were like, I need a break.
It stressed me out so much. I had to take a break, like in a good way. It stressed me out in a good way. Like it wasn't like I was frustrated with the game. It was literally, I was that scared that I was like, guys, I need a minute. Just give me a minute. But yeah, I was really enjoying that. What else have I been doing? Oh, I played Conan Exiles as well, which another streamer.
I remember you saying like you were kind of getting really into it, and I'm like,
yeah, I've been playing it offline,
bits of it,
which is rare for me these days to play a game offline. But I got introduced to it by another streamer, Ruby Dooby Queen. If you don't know her, we'll try and, if I remember, I'll leave a link down below. But she introduced me to it, and she was like basically addicted to it when she introduced me to it. So I finally was like, yeah, all right, I'll give it a go. And I was starting to get slightly addicted to it as well. It's very much like it almost feels like a hybrid of Minecraft and an MMO. You've got all of that gathering, like you got to go and chop down trees to get the wood to turn into houses or to turn into other stuff. So there's all that, Minecraft crafting progression. But then there's also enemies that have different levels, and there's bosses that have different tiers, and you get gear that like lets you fight bigger and badder stuff. And it's really cool. I don't think it would be an amazing game solo, if I'm going to be honest. I don't think it would have the same amount of fun solo, but I'm on a private server with a few other streamers, and it's just really fun. Like, I'm really enjoying it. Like, every time I hop on, I get absorbed into it. So much so that I had a day off the other day, and all I did was play it. I mean, I was ill, so I gave myself a day.
Yeah,
but I can't remember the last time when I just sat and played a game all day. I'm always either working on YouTube stuff or at work, so I'm like, I can't remember the last time I did that, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it very much.
Yeah, you were trying to get me to play it, and I was like, not convinced.
Yeah, you said you don't like those kind of games, though.
Like, I've played like The Forest and like 100, like Ark, and like 101 of these other games where it's just like the survival crafting kind of a genre. Yeah, and I'm a bit like, I'm just
yeah.
It's not going to be for everyone. It sounds interesting, but
yeah, that's kind of what, in a weird way, that's kind of what I'm really intrigued about, because I've not really been into any sort of MMOs for a while now. I mean, the last one I played really was World of Warcraft at the launch of BFA, and honestly, that did nothing for me. So having that kind of like that persistent world where you can go around and, like I say, you need to group up to kill certain bosses and enemies is pretty cool. And there's a fully fleshed out leveling system with attributes and skill points and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'm enjoying it. I'm enjoying the collecting the different armors, which is, I like enjoying. I do that in a lot of games. I love collecting armors and making my character look cooler. It's why it's why, like, when people say like, oh, it's just cosmetic, it's fine, don't worry about it. I'm like, I disagree, because one of the greatest enjoyments I get out of a lot of games is when you level up your character, then you get to equip better armor and you look more badass. So like, that's part of the enjoyment for me. Whereas a lot of games are now like, hey, you want to look badass, just buy some loot boxes, and I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to.
I get where you're going with that. That's the other game I'm playing. I'm playing some Final Fantasy 14, which is the Final Fantasy MMO.
Yeah, I could never get into that.
I've been getting that as well, like with because obviously the different jobs have completely different armor and stuff.
Yeah,
I really like the fact that you can have all the jobs on one character as well. So if you're like, oh, I want to play magic, you don't have to like switch character and be. Yeah. You don't have to then do the story again and stuff like that. You just have to like level up.
I really want to like it because I'm a massive Final Fantasy fan. I love Final Fantasy. Well, I love most Final Fantasies. 15 went great. But I love Final Fantasy, and I also used to really be a massive MMO player, so it's really weird that I just couldn't seem to get into Final Fantasy 14, but I feel like maybe I need to have another look at it, you know?
The combat's pretty clunky. You can play it for free up until like level 35 of every class.
I think the clunky combat was what I didn't like about it.
The combat is a bit... Later on, as you want... So basically, the way the combat works there is like skills combo off of each other. So I've been playing as a Lancer with a spear, and basically you have like kind of a basic skill that then combos into another skill that gives you a damage boost, and then you have another one that's just like a dump, basically. Yeah. So you like the rotation is very like samey, and it's all universal cooldown. So it's like you use one skill, you wait a second, different skill, you wait a second. Like
I think one of my major problems is I'm far too used to WoW's combat. You know, from all the two MMOs that I've really enjoyed have been WoW and Guild Wars, and so I'm kind of used to those. And Guild Wars and WoW have very similar combat, apart from Guild Wars 2. But I really like Guild Wars 2 combat, to be fair. But I'm too used to those two, and anything that kind of deviates from that, I'm just a bit like, eh.
It's definitely slower combat than WoW. WoW's combat is like, especially the melee classes, because I used to play a lot of like spellcasters, and obviously with that, it's like hit a button, you get the cast bar, and like it's very so like Warlock now is very similar to like Final Fantasy 14.
I was going to say, WoW kind of changed their spellcasters in the last couple of expansions. They've tried to make them a little bit less I stand still and I cast spell. Which,
I mean, Mage is still pretty like that.
Yeah, but I feel like they've given them a lot more sort of instant cast and stuff, though, over the years, you know. I mean, we'll see, because I'm going back to World of Warcraft Classic when that releases. I'm going to stream that for a little bit. So
you do not play a spellcaster in Classic because, oh my god, leveling is a nightmare, and also fighting bosses is a nightmare.
Well, I started in TBC and I leveled a Warlock, and that was an experience. I mean, you know, at least with the Warlock you get pets, but that was an experience. That's what I'm going to say. But yeah, that's what we've been playing this week. We've got a few topics today. We've got like a couple of little news topics, but then we've also got a couple of kind of like generic topics, things we want to have a discussion about, like maybe a little bit of a debate, maybe a little bit of a discussion.
It's time that we talked about this.
It's time we need to talk. Sit down. This is an intervention. But no, we got a couple of things. And we're going to start off with the Overwatch news. It's not massive news, but I want to talk about it anyway. Overwatch has finally said that they are going to release Roll-Lock. It's happening. It's been teased for a while. People have been saying that it's going to happen, and it's finally happening. They're releasing Roll-Lock, which, if you don't know what that is, essentially, as it stands now in Overwatch, you all just queue to find a match, and then once you're all in the match, you can choose whichever character you want, as long as it hasn't been taken by somebody else. That's the way that it works now, and so you have a lot of games that tend to have like no healers, where you'll lose very quickly, or no tanks. Everyone wants to play damage, or you'll have a lot of people doing in more competitive play where they'll do things like 3 tanks, 3 healers, which has apparently been the meta now for a while. And so Overwatch has finally come out and said, yeah, we're going to do the role lock. So the way that it's going to work now is that you have to pick your role before you queue. You queue as that role, and once you're in the match, you cannot pick outside of that role. So if you queue as tank, once you're in the match, you can only pick tank characters, which I think is great, and also has some drawbacks though, because as somebody, I only play Overwatch very casually. I play quick play now and again with friends for fun. That's all I play. I have 100 loot boxes sat there that I've earned over the time that I'm not going to open. Actually, I might open them for a charity, but I'm not opening them. But yeah, it's something that I think is going to help a lot, because what me and some friends that play Overwatch now and again, what we constantly complain about is you can never play damage, because every single match in quick play, you queue up, everybody goes DPS. And so then you have to, if you want to win, you have to go tanks and healers, because in that game, if you don't have a healer, your team has lost. Like, it's so rare if you go like a full team of DPS that you'll win. I mean, it can happen if you're good, but it's so rare. Like, you basically need healers in that game.
I want to match in a full team with snipers, because basically, like, this guy was like, I'm playing Widowmaker, and then someone else was Hanzo. So I played Ana, and then we had like a Mei, and like we just all went like basically sniper mode. And they were so angry about it. We were just like, you started this. Like, it's fine. But, like,
yeah, that's the worst thing.
I'm like real out of touch with Overwatch. I don't know what so the fuss with the roll-lock kind of stuff is. So League of Legends had roll-lock forever. Forever and ever and ever, you literally queue.
Which is, by the way, a lot of people have said that's what a lot of people argued with. They were like, well, League has roll lock, Overwatch needs roll lock. So it was
League is every game of League, you play with the same comp. So you play with a safe lane farm, an ADC. I mean, you can play like magic ADCs and stuff like that, but like you always play with a carry, a support, a mid, a jungler, and an offlane. And you always play those.
Yeah.
So Dota introduced a role lock recently for compendium holders, which basically, if you've paid basically you pay into the prize pool for the international, and you get a compendium that it levels up. You get like you get treasure chests, which are basically loot boxes, but you earn them in game. Yeah, I know. I knew you'd like that bit. But like it's a compendium thing that basically the money from it goes into the prize pool. You get like certain bonuses and stuff for having it.
Yeah.
If you have the compendium, I think it's this year, they give you a ranked role lock queue, which other people don't have access to, which is quite good because most people don't have like Smurfs that they're buying the compendium on because it's like, I think it's like £5 or £6. But the role lock in that doesn't, as far as I'm aware, it doesn't work brilliantly because you can play, so in Dota, you can play aggro tri-lane, you can play a solo off-lane, you can play a roamer, you can play like there's so many different comps that I don't see how the role lock really works in it. And I think this is going to be a similar issue in Overwatch.
Yeah.
Because you can play like a 2-2-2 comp, you can play a 3-3, you can play like there's different ways to play the game.
Yeah.
Also, say you Q healer and you play what's the lass that throws the orbs? The Irish lass. Moira.
Yeah.
So you play Moira, you can just go pure DPS with her. You can completely ignore the healing and you can actually spew out a lot of damage.
It's an interesting point because on top of the news of this, that they're doing role lock, Brigitte, who is one of the least healers, is being redesigned to become more of a healer and less of a catch-all kind of. I don't even know what she feels more like a DPS at the moment.
She's
than
kind
she
of
does
a
healer.
tanky support. Like
she's squishy, but she's got a stun and a shield, and also a lot of self-healing. And she has a stun.
And she's melee.
Yeah, exactly. She's a weird one. She's like a hybrid class, but they're redesigning her to be more of a healer. She's losing her stun's being slightly nerfed. She's going to get 3 charges of her armor pack, which her armor pack is getting a slight nerf, but it's going to be it's going to do more healing in the long run if you put all 3 on somebody. You can heal more people essentially. But yeah, they're bringing her in line with the healer role, and that's fine. And maybe they'll do the same thing with Moira, where they'll maybe tone down her DPS. I'm not saying anyone who's like a massive Overwatch fan who's like, I'm not saying they need to do that to Moira. I'm just saying that they might do that. They might bring her more in line with the healers too. That's what I'm saying they might do. But I am with you. I agree. Like, I feel like there's an element of creativity that's going to be lost, because I have seen, and I've had some fun games. I've had some fun games in quick play where we've been like, let's all queue healers. We did that on Ruby stream. And we're like, we'll all just queue healers. And it was fun. We didn't win, but it was a really fun game because we were all healing, and you can't do that anymore. And so you're losing that.
I'm assuming that there's like, are they making it so it's a separate queue for the role lock, or are they just putting role lock into the queue?
As far as we can see, it's just everyone's gonna be role lock now.
Like, I'd rather if you left like, because obviously like arcade isn't gonna have it because you have
you got different weird modes in arcade,
But like if they left it out of quick play, like I'd get having like a ranked role lock. But like leaving it out of quick play seems better to me. Like if you want to go real try hard, win all your matches and stuff like that, go play ranked. And you get to roll lock. You make sure that you have the comp that is like the most meta. And then you can still quick play and like mess around.
The problem with that, and I agree with you, this is why I'm saying that it's not a clear-cut win or a loss here, because the problem with that is the amount of matches that I've been in quick play, and you get in and no tanks or healers, and you're like, well, we've just lost this game. And it's like, I know, sure, you don't have to win every game to have fun, but the amount of times I've been in a game where I see a Genji, a Hanzo, an Ana, not Ana, what's the other one? What's she called? Ashe. You have like a Genji, a Hanzo, and Ashe, and then somebody's like, I'll be Reaper then. And you're like, well, this is a loss then, isn't it? So it's kind of like, do you see what I mean?
That's one of the things I hate with Overwatch is like, you get into a match, you see the comp, and you're just like, okay, we've lost. And also, it penalizes you for quitting the game. So you're just like, well, I have to stay in the match.
It also penalizes you if you get disconnected because of Overwatch. There was a bug at one point where both me and Ruby had it.
Heard about this.
Yeah, where we were getting disconnected from matches, and it was the game's fault. The game was just crashing, and you get a warning being like, if you disconnect again, we might ban you. And I'm like, hang on a minute, it's your bug, it's your glitch. But the flip side of that Sorry, I just totally interrupted you, but
No, I was about to interrupt you and you kept going. It was a good job.
yeah. The flip side of that as well, though, is there's been a lot of characters or heroes in Overwatch that people have been like, well, they're just not playable at the moment because the meta is 3 tanks, 3 healers, and characters like Tracer are just kind of like left out on the wayside kind of thing. So the flip side argument of that is we're going to start to see some heroes who are very rarely played be played more. So that's a positive, but I don't know. I almost wish you could queue for either, like have a wild mode or whatever. But again, the you're going to split the player base there, and that requires there to be a big player base. And I just think it's there's no clear win. It's going to have some positives. It's going to have some negatives. I think that most matches are going to be positively affected. But another thing that I thought about as we were talking about this before the show, another thing that I thought about is, what if, and this has happened a lot of times, what if somebody queues as a healer and they're not very good at healing, and you're somebody who can do both, and you're sat there thinking, hey dude, hey Mercy, do you want to swap? You can be a DPS, I'll be a healer. You can't do that with Rollock.
Yeah.
You're stuck in. So if you now join in a game and your healer's crap, you're just screwed.
Well, this isn't it. So like with League, obviously, as I said before, like they have a role lock, but the role lock doesn't actually lock you out of rolled characters. Admittedly, League of Legends has done a great job of, there are so many characters that can do like 3 or 4 different roles.
Yeah.
So it would be silly to do
that. Which is kind of the way, well, it was sort of the way Overwatch was going. There was a lot of characters that had like sort of hybrid, like multi. Like you said, Moira was very good at, or she still is very good at DPS and healing. Brigitte was kind of like a hybrid character. Roadhog with his self-heal. I mean, he is a tank, but he's got a lot of self-heal as well. So there was kind of characters in Overwatch that could kind of sort of fill multiple roles, but I think then I'm going to tone this back now with Rollock and be like, no, if you're a healer, you're a healer, and if you're a DPS, you're a DPS. And so
one of the big problems they're going to get with, sorry, just cut in right on you there. One of the big problems they're going to get in Overwatch is like, so if they don't lock out the selection, so say you roll check for tank, you get into the match and you're like, I'm going to play a tanky Brigitte, which obviously is like not amazing, but like say you roll DPS and you're like, I want to play a DPS Moira, which is probably a better example.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you can't do that because they're going to lock you out of that role. But I think if they don't lock that role, I think the way Overwatch is, it will just do nothing. People will just queue tank and healer for quicker queues and then be like, cool, I'm going to play Reaper. So, like, unless you have a way of, like, a report system for that, but then...
Well, the way that it's working
is complicated.
It's been confirmed. If you queue as a tank, you can only select tank characters.
Yeah. But once it's like, if you left them with the availability of characters and they don't do that, you need a system that... So say the rest of your team reports you because you queued tank and you've played Reaper. Like, you end up with, like, either you have to make an automated system that can tell if you've actually picked wrong and played against the style of your role pick. But then what you're going to do, like, ban people or give them match bans or...
I'm confused though, again, because you wouldn't be able to pick Reaper because you're locked out.
No. So I'm saying, like, obviously, if you left the characters available to people,
you're saying a hypothetical situation,
then obviously you can play like a Moira DPS, which gives you back that idea of being able to kind of like have the creativity that Overwatch does so well with their drafting. Like, you can play certain characters off spec, and they can still be effective. So as it stands at the moment, the lockout for character types means you can't do that. But to make it so that you can do that also opens you up to people just queuing however they want for a quicker queue time, say, and then being like, cool, I'm going to play DPS.
I feel like a good solution would be to add in a swap feature. So if you queue as a healer and I queue as a tank, and then you're like, I'm not doing very well at healing, I go, hey, do you want to swap? And then we swap. I mean, that would be difficult because it would take time. They'd need to figure out a good way.
DPS is just going to be constantly like, swap with me, swap with me. I want to play DPS. Swap.
Well, again, you'd queue as a DPS. It's actually funny. They showed a screenshot of the UI for the lobby of the 3 different queues, tank, DPS, and healer. And interestingly enough, even on the like wherever Blizzard got this from, I'm assuming they're private, servers. The DPS queue time was much higher than the tank and the healer queue time, and they even showed off. They even showed off a what they've done in WoW before with LFR, whereas they can reward queues that aren't getting queued. So they had a loot box reward for queuing as.
I like the idea of that as long as they actually do it well, because you could just be like, oh, there's a loot box reward if I queue as a tank. I can just go into a tank game, blow the game so that it's quicker and I get my reward.
Yeah.
You can't do as World of Warcraft because it's PvE. You get it if you complete it.
Yeah.
Not if it's just because obviously if they make it so that you get a reward for only matches that you win, people will be like, well, I'm not going to bother because you only win, like best case scenario in a PvP game, you win 50-50. So it's like, 50% chance of getting a loot box.
Yeah, but again, if you're queuing up and you, like you say, it's 50-50 win rate and you getting a loot box for every win, that's a lot of loot boxes. You know, one in 2 games, that's a lot. It's usually a lot less than that when you get your experience and you get your free ones. Not that, you know, we should be aiming to get loot boxes because loot boxes
I doubt they
are
would do it
trash.
loot box because that's their monetization. They'll probably do it like bonus XP or...
No, they are doing it as loot boxes. They've shown
Fair
it on the
enough.
screenshot. It literally has an icon of loot box in orange on the like healer roll. So again, I'm assuming, I know what they say about assumptions.
Reckon time lock then it'll be like if you play as a healer today.
Maybe
Like,
it's probably it'll probably be the same as LFR. It'll probably be while the queues are low, so while there's low population, and then when the population rises, they'll take the reward off. It's probably the same as that. I'm assuming here, but that would make sense. It's like, hey, hang on a minute, no one's queuing as healer. Let's incentivize more healers. They all jump as healer. Problem solved. Take the loot boxes.
I think because in World of Warcraft, the rewards you get are actually crap. Like it's like maybe some crafting material and some,
they couldn't give you proper rewards because then you wouldn't log in every day and you know, buy all their mounts on the mount store and do all that shit.
There is a reason I don't have any Blizzard games installed.
Yeah, there's a reason why a lot of us are rapidly uninstalling them.
I have Diablo 3 installed on my Blizzard launcher, and that is it.
I don't play Diablo 3 anymore. I
like the seasons.
Do you know what?
I've got friends who play that every season.
I enjoyed Diablo 3. It was okay. I think it had a lot of problems, and there was a lot that they could have done a lot better with Diablo 3, but it was alright. I enjoyed it for a time, but I keep looking at it on the Switch and being like,
racing your friends on season is like the best. Like when you
I got
like
bored of it though.
The number of times like one of the first Insomnias I went to was I-55, and we basically it fell on the weekend that they did the season started on the Friday, so we turned up on the Thursday, basically got prepped, and we just hardcore played. We didn't do any of the events. We didn't go anywhere other than the LAN hall because we were like, I'm gonna hit this tier before you do.
So and what you're saying is you could have just stayed at home and saved yourself a ton.
Oh yeah. That was back when Insomnia was like way cheaper though, and like camping was free and included and stuff like that. Not now. £140 on August Insomnia, and that's before I've even gone there.
Yeah, I can't get the time off work. I'm gutted. I wanted to go to Insomnia. I'm so gutted, but
I'm so excited. I had to miss Easter because
this is what happens when they put it on a bank holiday weekend.
It's always on. It's every Insomnia is on a bank holiday weekend. Yeah, well, they do it because they run it Thursday to Monday.
I can never go then. Basically, I just can't get bank holidays off. Yeah. But never mind. I'm going to try and go to EGX again, even though they moved EGX to London. I'm going to try and go. So if anybody in the comments is going to EGX this year, let me know. I'm going to try and go. It's in September or October. No, it's on October.
It's October.
Yeah, it's October.
I definitely didn't, after you spoke to me and I was like, oh yeah, I'm not going to go. I definitely didn't go and look up the dates and put them in my calendar and be like, maybe.
We're going to go. It's going to happen.
Yeah, October 18th to the 20th.
As soon as I know if I can get the time off, I'll let you know, and then we can do. So maybe we could do a meet GGWP if anyone wants to. We could do that.
Get some content done.
I doubt Taylor will be able to make it, but
from Canada.
We never know.
Do you want to come to EGX?
She did say that she'd come if we'd pay for a hotel, but I don't know if she actually meant it. So we'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. Anyway,
just put her on a sofa, fold out sofa. It'll be fine.
No, I'll be in a hotel anyway. We'll just get her a hotel room. Don't be a cheapskate.
Mine's just saying all three of us in the same hotel room. Save us a fortune.
No, I want my own.
Fine.
I share with you guys. Anyway, next topic. That was it about Overwatch. There's more to it, but I just wanted to like briefly cover it because I do play it occasionally. So next topic is Fallout 76 because Bethesda just
did they make the game way better? Did they patch it and make everything fixed? And put in all the things that
their roadmap work?
Did they? Tell me. Oh no, they didn't.
They didn't.
Oh, they patched it and they broke everything and brought back a load of bugs that they got rid of.
No, well, there's more to it than that as well. So if anybody hasn't heard the news, Fallout 76 has been patched again, and they have broken a load of new stuff. They've brought back, as you say, previous bugs that had once been squashed. They've brought in new bugs. They've made a buggy game even buggier. I don't even know how. Even for Bethesda, I don't know how. But they have.
Patches were a good thing. We look forward to them.
Yeah, I remember those days. Do you remember when games used to get released in a full, like, ready state? Do you remember those days? Youngsters don't understand how it felt to get a game that was ready, that was finished. Just the good old days. Anyway, so the patch has come out, and there's been 2 negatives to it. It's not just the bugs, there's been 2 negatives, but we'll go into a little bit of detail on both of them. So, the bugs are one thing, but on top of that, they've added more non-cosmetic microtransactions, which this time they are, I think the first time they did it was repair kits, and I think this time it's something similar. It's like I've forgotten what they are. It's something similar to a repair kit. Yeah, Google it, go find out for me.
I'm doing it. I'm doing it.
The reason why a lot of people are really angry about this is because Bethesda said that the cosmetic store was just going to be cosmetic. I keep calling it the cosmetic store because they called it a cosmetic store. They said the store is going to be just cosmetics. And a lot of people still hide behind that excuse, going, oh, it's okay then, it's just cosmetic. But twice now, they have added in microtransactions that are not cosmetic. They are game assisting. I don't want to say they're pay to win, but they help you play the game better. They make your gaming experience easier.
I don't want to say pay to win, but here's a thesaurus.
Well, it's not pay to win, it's pay to make the game less shit. Wow. Make the game less grindy, make the game less obnoxious, essentially. Which, as Jim Sterling has said, and I 100% agree with, if you've made your game grindy and then you sell something to make it less grindy, then you've created a problem and sold the solution to the problem, which is a goddamn bad business model. The game should be good.
Kit?
Yeah, scrap kit, that's it. So you've got
it automatically scraps your junk and
yes.
I'm assuming that's normally a time consuming.
Well, yeah, usually you'd have to run to something to scrap it. So you'd have to take all your stuff, run to something. I don't know what it is. I actually don't play Fallout 76.
Yeah, I haven't played it either.
So it'll either be a bench or like it was in Fallout 4, or it'll be like a vendor or something. But yeah, you have to run. So it's saving you time and letting you do more of the looting and the shooting broken buggy.
They've put another monetization, a new one. You can get greenhouses now, and so basically your player can have a greenhouse where you can like grow things, but it's a $15 thing, so you buy it for $15.
I feel like they're being so cheeky. The fact that they said it wasn't going to have, it was only going to have cosmetics, and now it
rains inside the greenhouses. Like they haven't even made it water. Like, it doesn't count as a roof.
I just don't.
Oh my, it's really bad. I'm quickly just reading through like the bugs that are coming up, and like, there's kill zones. There's now zones on the map where if you wander in, you die, and no one knows why.
Sure, why not? Sounds like good game design to me. So a lot of people, because of the bug side of things, a lot of people have said, why the hell in an online persistent experience, like I almost said MMO then, it's definitely not that, but an online persistent experience like this, why don't they have test servers? They are literally making a patch and releasing the patch to the live server before they release it to a test server. Pretty much every online game that I know, like pretty much everyone, has test servers where they release it first, they get most of the bugs out the way, and then they release it to the live servers. The problem with this model of Bethesda doing it like this, direct to the server, is if they make a monumental cock-up and the servers get broken, there's no buffer. There's no buffer. Your game is now just broken until they fix it, which it is now. And so we know Bethesda are not the greatest at fixing bugs and making games that work. I feel like Bethesda are the company that really need their test servers. Of all the companies, they really need it. Why don't they have it? And a lot of players are saying, please, just we'll do the testing for you. A lot of players have said, we will do the testing for you. Do a test server. We'll play on it. We'll find the bugs, and then you fix the bugs, which is your damn job, and you should have done it before the game was launched. However, no one's going to get angry. No one gets angry at PTBs or test servers. Because at the end of the day, if you choose to log on to a test server, you accept that there's going to be bugs. You accept there's going to be glitches, and that's what they're there for. But Bethesda being Bethesda are like, hey, let's release it to the live server. Why not? What could go wrong? It's not like the game could get any buggier, right? But apparently it can.
I find it amazing that it's a conversation that's still happening.
I know. I find it amazing
you,
that Fallout 76 is still being worked on. I'm surprised they haven't just scrapped it at this point.
You have a horde of effectively unpaid QA testers that you're refusing to use.
Yeah, I know, exactly.
And also, it's not even like, so say they were like, oh yeah, we don't need it because the games are like, the patches are coming out fine. They're not coming out fine. They're coming out. They've
never come out fine. This is the thing. I don't think there's been a single patch that has been like bug free. You know,
I don't.
And again, like
Bethesda's known for their bugs.
They are known for their bugs. I mean, people have always been. Maybe it is. Maybe they're trying to set up that niche brand. For anybody who just loves buggy games, Bethesda is the company for you. But no, I feel like no one's ever been angry about test servers. They're there for a reason. There's something that pretty much, again, every online game that I know, World of Warcraft does it, Dead by Daylight does it. I'm sure League of Legends and Dota do it. I know HOTS does. Like every Overwatch does it. Every game does it. So, like, why the hell are Bethesda not taking advantage of it? Knowing that they're already basically up shit creek with PR. Basically knowing that they've lost a lot of their, fandom through Fallout 76. They've lost a lot of goodwill with customers through Fallout 76 and the drama surrounding, all the merchandise and everything like that. So, knowing that they're already kind of in a bad spot, why would you make it worse by just releasing stuff to the live servers? Like, I don't think Bethesda were ready for a live online game. I don't think they were ready.
Well, they were barely ready for releasing full games.
Well, that's true. Fallout 4
and they've been doing that for decades.
It amazes me that the same company that made Skyrim made Fallout 76. Like, sure, Skyrim had bugs on launch, but it was nowhere near bad as their recent games. Like, even Fallout 4 wasn't great. Like, I actually enjoyed Fallout 4, but it still didn't run great. So, come on, Bethesda. Come on. Like, just sort something out, please.
Just anything.
Yeah, exactly. Just anything. But stop adding the microtransactions in. And something else that people are saying is, isn't it very telling, right? Isn't it very telling that every time they add new microtransactions into the game, they don't have bugs. They don't have glitches. They work perfectly. The things that you have to pay for, they work just fine. And it's like, oh, God, Bethesda. You're becoming Blizzard 2.0. And Blizzard is EA 2.0. And EA is just EA 1.0. And everyone's becoming EA. And I really don't like it. We already had one EA. That was bad enough. I don't want more EA.
I would say this is like EA is like EA 1.4 or something. Because like originally EA weren't like this. They patched into it.
Yeah, they did. I mean, yeah. I mean, I feel like EA were the leaders though of this this market trend. I'm laughing because I'm dying inside. But
EA made a lot of money with aggressive monetization and asshole moves, and then everyone else went, oh, they did it.
Yeah, exactly.
They G2A'd it. They were like, if we don't aggressively monetize stuff, someone else will do it.
Oh, careful! Don't talk about G2A. Might get sued. No, don't talk about them. I'm kidding. Oh, bless Taylor. She was getting so stressed last week. For anybody who doesn't know, Taylor worries about stuff. She worries that I'm gonna get sued.
It was me that was like being like, for legal reasons, we have to actually say this.
No, but she DM'd me. Well, she DM'd us during the last week's podcast, being like, "I'm stressed. I'm stressed. Please stop him."
It was all caps as well. It's just like, I'm stressed.
Yeah, she definitely was. And I honestly, I get where she's coming from. But if they were going to sue anyone, they're going to sue me, and they're not going to sue me.
If I get sued, I'm not worth anything. Good luck.
I'm not worth anything. I got no money. They can have my Twitch pillow.
You can have 80% of my net worth, which is like minus something. Like, take it.
Just have it. You can take my debts. You can have them. But no, that was. I know a lot of people are like sick of hearing about Fallout 76. I'm sick of talking about Fallout 76. I really hope that Bethesda moving forward with their new games. I think Fallout 76 is a write-off. I don't think it's ever going to be fixed. I think it was a steaming pile of shit at launch. It's still a steaming pile of shit now. They fucked up. They did that. I hope that they move on. But the problem is what makes me really worried that they're not going to like fix these mistakes for their future games. Because, as a huge fan of the Elder Scrolls, I started with Morrowind and then I played Oblivion and Skyrim and I loved all three of them. I'm really not looking forward to Elder Scrolls 6 because I'm like, well, if this is them, and what I mean is they know that we kind of at the moment really don't like them and they still keep adding in microtransactions. They're like, hey, I know you don't like us, but here's some more. This is the thing. I feel like they're not. And I feel like sales of the next Elder Scrolls title is probably going to reflect that.
I'd be interested to see because like obviously they have like Wolfenstein, Elder Scrolls, Fallout, like they have these huge like massively long brands that realistically like I feel like so say you're like, oh yeah, I'm done with Bethesda, and then they release like Doom Eternal, and you're like, I do want to play Doom Eternal. Like,
yeah, I mean,
what are you gonna do?
Absolutely. I'm by the way, I'm not suggesting that anyone should like boycott Bethesda or anything. What I'm saying is though, is I feel like a lot of people who have been so burned.
Burned.
So many people have been so burned by Fallout 76 and Bethesda in general that I feel like a lot of people just aren't going to be excited for their future games because they're going to go, well, if they fucked up this bad and they continue to keep fucking up more, what's to stop them in the next one? And I think, I don't know. Again, I don't want a game to not do well because I'm sure the Elder Scrolls 6 is still going to sell massive amounts of copies because it's Elder Scrolls. Of course it will. But I do think, and this is just my own opinion, I do think a lot of people are going to be very, very cautious before they pre-order it or before they buy it. Which you should be anyway in this day and age. You definitely should be. But I feel like people are going to be even more cautious. And I think this is just, again, conjecture on my part. I've got nothing to back this up. But I do think that maybe their pre-orders are going to be lower than they think they're going to be. I think pre-orders for the next Elder Scrolls are going to be on the light side. And they should be. They should be. People shouldn't be pre-ordering a game from a company that keeps fucking up this much. Like, that would be a silly thing to do. Don't pre-order.
I don't pre-order things anymore.
I don't either, but...
I don't pre-order from anyone.
I don't either, but pre-orders are still seen in the industry as being an indicator of how well the game's going to do. And you know, that's fair enough. Like, that's... If you've got loads of pre-orders for a game, you know there's interest, you know people are going to be buying it on day one and playing it. So I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with companies going, hey, we have loads of pre-orders, that's good. I still think pre-orders are, you know, anti-consumer and that you shouldn't be paying for a game before you can at least see some reviews on it. But that's why we're here. That's why we're here to show you the games and to, again, now that I'm working, I plan to be buying games on day one and maybe doing reviews. If you want some reviews from me of new games, let me know in the comments down below because I'm thinking about doing reviews when I, you know, for major releases and stuff, and maybe some reviews of some indie games if I can get some, indie games on my radar. But anyway, my point is that I think that Bethesda really needs to rein it in. I think they need to realize that their fans' goodwill is at an all-time low, and that's going to affect sales. It's going to affect sales in the next game, in my opinion. But this leads me on to the topic that I want to talk about today, which is something that I've been thinking about for a little while now, which is a question. A question. It is a question. It's a hypothetical. It is a topic of debate. A debate topic, if you will. Should customers be allowed a refund on a game that changes or adds in monetization later on after launch? It's a general question. The reason why I'm asking this question is because there's been a number of games in the last few years, and I'm gonna shame some of them. I'm gonna drop them in now. There's been a number of games over the last couple of years that have done things that have kind of, in my opinion, is a little bit shady. So as an example, both Black Ops 3 and 4 released with no loot boxes in them and added them in later. And we know why they did this. They did this so they could get all the positive press from all of the news outlets and all of the YouTubers, because let's be honest, YouTubers basically sell games now more than journalists do. They got all of the positive press from all of the YouTubers and all the journalists, and then they added in the loot boxes when nobody was talking about the game. And Fallout 76, another example of a game that they literally promised. They said, we will not put any microtransactions in this game that aren't cosmetic. And then they did. They put in now two DLCs that are not, sorry, microtransactions that are not cosmetic. There's so many games that do this, and I feel personally that you're starting to border on legality here. If you sell a product and it is A, and then later on you change it to B, I didn't buy product B, I bought product A. And yet now I have B and I've got no choice about that. You're in control. You can do whatever you want. Like, they could literally just delete the game if they wanted to. Of course, they're not going to do that. But they could delete the game. They could make it rubbish. I mean, and again, look at Fallout 76, making the game buggier after launch. Like, maybe for some people, unplayable. You know, what do you think about that?
It's a weird one because it's literally the only industry where this is a thing. Like, say I bought a movie on Amazon. Mm-hmm. You know, Amazon, like, you can buy movies and then you have like your little library of stuff that you've paid for.
Hashtag
so
not
imagine
sponsored.
Not sponsored. Amazon Prime.
Have you heard about Prime?
you heard about Prime Day, you can subscribe for free to this YouTube channel. You can subscribe for free to the YouTube channel. They're just unrelated statements. It's fine. But yeah, so say I went onto Amazon and I bought a movie or a TV series or something like that, and then they took a scene out or like whatever, did something, made it black and white.
Yeah.
Like
it's a choice, it's a style choice.
I feel like I should be able to go, well, wait a minute. This isn't the movie that I bought. I either want the one that I bought and I paid for, or I'm not paying for this new one. So I see it that way. But like, so the fuss that I have with this, and we did have a very brief conversation for the podcast, the problem you get is you either need to make this situational, so people can go to Steam, say I buy a game on Steam, and then they change it like a year down the line with an update of whatever. And I go to Steam and say, this game isn't the same as the game that I bought. And then Steam makes that decision.
So a case-by-case basis.
Yeah. So with a case-by-case basis, I feel like, because Steam in the past have done really good things with, so Steam's refund process is like very set in stone. You have to be under a certain amount of hours played, and it has to be within a certain time of
well, you say it's set in stone, but you can still apply for a refund if you fall out. If, like you say, for example, you've got to be within 2 hours of game time. But I know of people that have been outside of 2 hours and have said, but hang on a minute, it took me an hour to get into a lobby, or it took me an hour to get, because the game wasn't working. So you say they're set in stone, but they actually do issue refunds on a case-by-case basis already.
This is where I was going to go with it. So No Man's Sky, they basically turned around,
sorry,
the original release of No Man's Sky, Steam turned around and just like, look, we understand the community is livid because this game doesnn't work.
Well, it was missold. It was sold as a game that had features that it didn't have. If anybody never heard the story of No Man's Sky, there were a lot. There were a lot of features that were shown in footage that weren't in the game. Yeah. There was literally. I'm not making this crap up. It's like, oh
other explorers.
Yeah, they were like, you can meet other players in the universe, and 2 players went to the exact same point in the universe and could not see each other, and so they became a big news story. They contacted developers in No Man's Sky, whoever they were. I only know Sean Murray, but they contacted them and they were like, yeah, you can't actually do that. And it was like, hang on, you said we could though. Like,
So in that case, because there was such community uproar, basically Steam turned around and were like, okay, fine. If you have more than 2 hours of the game, or like if you bought it on a pre-order ages and ages ago, whatever the situation is, if you apply for a refund, we will just give you a refund.
Yeah.
And I think something like that is a very good system. The problem you have with a lot of these games, so like Fallout 76, is done through Bethesda's launcher.
Yeah.
So you buy it through Bethesda on Bethesda's launcher.
You are at the mercy of Bethesda.
Yeah, so I don't think Bethesda are ever going to turn around and be like, okay, yeah, some of the decisions we made are stupid. That's fine. You can have a refund. So if you have like a curator or like a platform that the game's on, then I feel like it's something that like is almost already in place, because you can apply to these companies and say like, look, the game isn't what I wanted anymore. Yeah. And I think it should become more commonplace if people are really, really unhappy with the way the game's going.
Yeah.
But the problem with that as well is you're going to get people that are just like, I don't really like the game anymore. And the game makes a minor change. They go, excellent. This change that's now in, that's ruined the game for me. I'd like
yeah. I was literally about to say this, because the worry is you got to be reasonable as a consumer. If you get bored of a game because you played it for 1,000 hours and then they put a new patch in and you go, well, I didn't find this new patch good, I want a refund. That's not what I'm talking about, because at the end of the day, you can enjoy a game for a long time and then get bored of it, or you can enjoy a game and you just don't like it anymore. That's not what I'm talking about. What I'm talking about is if they add in microtransactions in later on, or if they make the game worse, like, again, they make a game unplayable, or what if they just radically change the way the game functions? Like, what if like, especially in games like early access games and things like that, like, what if the game starts off one way and then like a year later it turns out differently? Look at, what was that game? We Happy Few. Look at We Happy Few, that radically changed from the version that I bought was essentially a survival game. And then the version that released was a mess of half survival, half story driven, kind of didn't do either very well. So
yeah, it was a bit of a mess when it came out.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I actually really enjoyed streaming that game just to have a laugh at it because of how bad it was. But my point is, especially when it comes to things like microtransactions. What about all of this recent news we've had about loot boxes and how harmful they can be to certain people? So not only Jim Sterling did a video on this with some testimonials from people who are literally addicted to loot boxes, addicted to gambling. The BBC did an article recently about children who have basically emptied their parents' bank accounts and people that just can't stop themselves. They've BBC have been reporting about loot boxes a lot recently. It's kind of good to see. So what about people that buy a game and then it has no loot boxes in it and they're like, great, cool, sure, whatever, great, and then a month later they add in loot boxes? You're like, well, now I've got loot boxes in that game and I had no power or choice as a consumer to do that. When you buy a game, you have a choice, like, I want to buy it or I don't want to buy it. And for a lot of people, they're going to look at things like loot boxes and go, well, I don't want to buy that game then. I don't want to buy it. So now you run the risk of companies going, well, we know there's negative press about loot boxes, so what we'll do is we'll sneak them in later. Again, literally like Activision Blizzard did with Black Ops 3 and 4, which nobody seems to talk about this, by the way, which is, I pretty much stopped playing it when they had the loot boxes in. But yeah, it's just, there's no protection from a consumer from that. Like, you've got no protection at all, as you said, especially if you're buying through, a third-party launcher. Like, Bethesda or whoever, I'm not saying Bethesda would do this, but any company could just turn around and be like, oh, well, tough shit.
I mean, this is it. Like, the protection that's in place is basically the middleman. And you need a middleman. Like, obviously, Steam did this before, as I said, and Steam is such a huge company that if they then try and put that cost back onto the company they came from, if they end up taking that hit, it's not going to fuss Steam, but they have a happy user base.
Yeah.
And obviously, like Black Ops 4, you buy through the Blizzard launcher.
Yeah.
I don't think you can you buy it anywhere else? Or is it just there?
I don't think so.
I'm not sure.
I haven't tried to buy it again. Buying it once was bad enough.
To
be fair, I actually didn't buy Black Ops 4. I traded in all my WoW gold for tokens and then bought it that way.
The tokens have real world value. Like,
yeah,
you can pay subscriptions with it. You can't cash them out, but
no, I'm with you. It's time. There's time cost there as well. Yeah. And even me, I bought that game and was like, like I bought it with WoW Gold and was like,
well, I had a friend do the same thing. He bought it with WoW Gold that he did through tokens because he's basically a gold farmer. That pays for
this is what I did for a little while. Yeah.
But he bought it with that, and I mean, he enjoyed the game enough, and he wasn't that bothered by the loot boxes. He just didn't use them. Yeah. But no, I completely agree. But the problem is, you either have to make it so you'd either have to make some form of legislation to put it in, so that companies are then forced to honor that. Which I don't want more legislation in gaming.
No, I don't either. I didn't even want
out of everything.
Yeah, same. I didn't want loot boxes to be legislated, but these goddamn companies they cannot stop themselves. These large companies, especially AAA, they cannot stop themselves. If there is money to be made, they will go for it. Damn the consequences, damn the morality, damn the ethics, they will go for it. And this is why we end up having to have it. We have to have legislation because these companies just are, that's it. They care more about greed than anything else. They don't care about their workers. They don't care about their customers. They only care about the money. And so they have to be regulated. And I'm with you. I don't want more regulation in video games because then it's a slippery slope, isn't it? It's regulation. Then you get violence is regulated. Then you get sort of nudity is regulated. And before you know it, games have become basically all carbon copies of each other because you can't do any creative freedoms. But these companies need to stop before it happens, and they won't. They won't. But I think this is going to become more of a problem as more and more games become live services, as more and more games become, broken, buggy, half finished at launch. This problem is going to become more of a problem, and we're going to see more of this stuff. And we've already seen dozens of games that I can think of that sneak in microtransactions later and sneak in bullshit. Go to games that go like free to play like later on, and then they add more microtransactions in because it went free to play. Things like that. There's a lot of, and as you said before, this is the only industry that this happens in. It doesn't. I can't think of a single other industry that this happens.
I mean, obviously, so many industries until very recently were like physical things.
Yeah.
So you bought like, I don't know, a pair of jeans, like, because the equivalent is like, say I went out and bought a pair of jeans and then they were shorts. Like, I got them home and they were shorts.
What a weird comparison.
Well, I mean,
you're just walking down the street and be like, oh, whoa, shorts now.
Oh boy, I'm wearing shorts now.
Damn it, I'm wearing shorts and boots.
but it's equivalent. It is like
there is no equivalence.
Extreme equivalency.
Yeah, there is no direct comparison.
But yeah, and this is the thing. Like, it's such a new thing to be happening. Like, it's an
Mhm.
occurrence that hasn't happened before.
Yeah.
And obviously we have to hit it responsibly, because who would ever proactively think? So who 20 years ago, when you bought games on discs and there wasn't like internet connections to patch things,
I miss those days.
who was ever like, oh, imagine one day if we just bought a game and then they just changed what it was, and
Yeah.
everyone went, what are you smoking? Stop. Like,
Yeah.
no, that's never going to happen. And
Yeah.
here we are, 2019.
But it's like anything though, anything in the video game industry, especially the AAA, that it should be a positive ends up being a negative. Like this patch system was something that was great because, as you said before, you know, games came on cartridges or discs or floppy disks or whatever, and that was it. That was what the game was.
Floppy disks. Oh,
I had some games on floppy disks when I was a kid.
I'd Wolfenstein 3D. It was great.
But yeah, so it was kind of like the game was that was it. And if the game did have a bug, which to be fair, they didn't have as many bugs as they do now, but if a game did have a bug or a glitch, it was just there forever. And so, you know, you didn't have game breaking bugs back then, because if you did, your game wouldn't sell, because somebody would buy it and go, hey, hang on a minute, this game has a game breaking bug. Nobody buy it. So now we have access to online and we have all of this. It should be a good thing. It's like, hey, you know, we can fix your game later on. Or in the case of, you know, good games like The Witcher 3, we can add more content for you later on. So once you've played the game and you're bored of the game, whatever, here's some more of the game. And that's what it should be. But the AAA industry has turned it from something positive to something like, oh, well, we could just finish the game later. We'll release it, pre-order it, we'll release it, and we'll have a roadmap. Fuck it, whatever. And
yeah, I mean, I wish there was a way of pressuring them into releasing full games, because the number of games I've seen where they release, did you ever play Evolve? It was like an asymmetric hunter monster game. Like the way that released in like alpha, because it released in like a pre-alpha version.
Yeah,
it released and then it like they changed it a lot. Then they made it free, but because it was free, you had a paid copy, and it just got complicated. And it was just like, if you just released a game that you were happy with, released it, sold it to people, and then you were done with it, it was a good game. It was a fun game.
But that's the interesting thing though, isn't it? Like, a lot of games that are well made might have problems, especially online games. We look at Dead by Daylight, right? Dead by Daylight is a very popular game, and as much as, you know, it still has bugs and glitches and blah 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 blah, they're constantly improving it. And a lot of online games, Rainbow Six Siege is a fantastic example of that. The game was very well crafted, but on launch, a lot of people just didn't like it. It just wasn't very popular. But then they improved it and added on it and worked on it, and now it's a wildly popular game. And this is what Bethesda said. They were like, well, hang on a minute, how is it okay for them and it's not okay for us? And what we're saying to you, Bethesda, what we're saying, Todd, is those games were well crafted, but had issues. You know, maybe they had balancing issues, or maybe they had like pacing issues, or maybe they had, you know, like content, whatever issues. Your game didn't work. That's the difference. You know, like their games worked, but they didn't resonate. Your game doesn't work or resonate. That's the difference. So again, this should be a positive, you know, online patches and all this, that should be. And in a lot of cases, it is a positive, but certain companies just use it to their advantage, screw the customer. And, you know, as you said before, like, what can we do? The only thing we can do is vote with our wallet. And I think Fallout 76 is probably a best case of people voting for their wallets. A lot of people didn't buy it. I'm one of them. A lot of people who did buy it got a refund. A lot of people who did buy it don't play it anymore. And like I said earlier, are probably going to be very, very cautious with Bethesda's games in the future. So I almost wish, I don't, but I almost wish that Fallout 76 has like caused Bethesda a big drop in money. Like I almost wish it scares them a bit, you know, into being like,
as a life service game, like to have a game that hasn't been that successful and then you're still putting money into it. Because at least most games, like if a game's like successful, just stop patching it.
Yeah.
You just be like, okay, cool, we'll just leave it in the state that it's in.
Yeah.
You can't do that with an online game that's still broken.
Yeah.
So they're still putting funding in. Admittedly, I think they did have a boost in their player base. I've noticed that it's picked up on Twitch recently.
Wait, so it's gone from like 4 to like 5?
Yeah, there's now like 5 players.
Oh, wow.
3 of them are streamers.
Yeah, two of them are Bethesda employees.
But yeah, like it started to, once they did the whole patching where they put like NPCs in, and they like changed the way that the world interacts with each other and stuff like that. They put a lot more. They put actual quests in with stories to them. Like releasing the game without any of that, I'm like, what the hell is wrong?
You bring up like a really interesting point though. Like I've said this a million times. The industry wants you to pre-order. It wants you to pre-order a game and buy it on day one. That's what they want. because if you're buying it on day, you're buying it on day one, that's good for their shareholders. And especially with games with microtransactions, if you're buying from day one, you're more likely to buy microtransactions. There's a greater time window for you to buy them, if you will. But these games that keep doing this, all they're doing is making people go, I don't want to buy games on day one anymore. I want to buy them a year later when they're fixed, or at least do what I do, which is wait for a game like this to launch and see what people say about it. Go to Twitch, watch some Twitch footage, go to YouTube, watch a review, see some people play it before you buy it. And that's what I do. But I feel like these games are kind of killing pre-orders. I'm not saying that they are, but it could.
I just checked Twitch because I was saying there's more people watching it, playing it, stuff like that. And obviously we use Twitch viewership a lot.
It's a very rough
benchmark.
Yeah.
Currently Fallout 76 is 6 places behind Fallout 1. It's 1 place behind Final Fantasy 7.
Don't compare
3 places behind
76.
Tekken 3. Well, no, I'm just saying
Final Fantasy 7.
The
7's
games
an amazing
that
game.
are beating out 76 are 15-year-old games.
Yeah.
The first Fallout is being played. There's 570 viewers. There's no one even streaming it, and it's beating Fallout 76 for viewership. That's really weird. But anyway,
again, we said this before. There's a rough correlation with how many people are watching a game on Twitch or watching YouTube videos as well, with how many people are playing them, especially online games. Because think about it, if you're really heavily immersed in the online Fallout 76 community because you're playing it every day, you're more likely to go and watch someone else stream it because you're like, hey, I play this game too. We have something in common. Do you know what I mean? You're not going to be sat there playing Fallout 76 watching League of Legends, are you? Well, you might do, but you know what I mean? So that's why we use Twitch viewership as a rough sort of an estimate on how popular a game is. And 76 is not, it's chief.
It's doing better than it was a couple months back, but it's not doing great.
Well, probably not now that they've patched all the bugs back in. But yeah, I rag on Fallout 76. I rag on Bethesda because I want them to do better. I want this to be Bethesda's last big mistake. I want them to go, okay, we fucked up, let's do better next time. But I just don't see it. I think the industry at this point has gone to the point of where the shareholders just don't give a shit. They don't care if this industry crashes and burns. They don't care. As long as they get their paycheck at the end of the year, they don't give a shit. Which baffles my mind, because if you think about it, surely they'd want the industry to do well, because then you get money for years to come, years and years. But no, they're just like, we'll just crash and burn the industry for the sake of a bit more profit. But whatever. I think, do we have other topics? Oh, we do have another topic. We do have another topic. We have a YouTube related topic. Spicy one. It's a spicy topic.
It edges onto YouTube Twitch drama, which we're not about. But
no, I love a bit of drama, but I don't like.
I wouldn't want to report on drama.
Yeah, we're not that kind of channel.
I mean, I say report on we're journalists and stuff. We're not just mates chatting shit on a podcast. But
but we're still doing better than journalists. So I mean, let's face it, YouTube is the future. Anyway, so there has been some YouTube drama, but we don't want to talk about the drama specifically. But I'm going to just talk about it, just to lead into the conversation. But essentially, Asmongold and what are they called? Taliesin? I think that's how you say it. They had a bit of a falling out recently, and I'm not going to side with one person or the other. I'm not going to say who's right or who's wrong. We're just going to talk about the facts, and then we're going to talk about what we want to talk about. But essentially, if you've not heard the story, Asmongold was watching a video on his stream, watching a Taliesin video, which I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe Taliesin is there's 2 of them, a couple, I think. I don't know. I don't watch them. I occasionally watch Asmongold, but that's it. Anyway, I believe he was watching one of their videos on his stream, and he was critiquing it. He was saying he disagreed, maybe this was bullshit. I don't agree with that, whatever. And Taliesin tweeted out saying, essentially, every time Asmongold mentions us, we get thousands of hate messages from his fans. And this has sparked some debate, because Asmongold has a massive audience, a huge audience. He's a WoW streamer. He's one of the biggest WoW streamers, if not the biggest WoW streamer. He might be the biggest, I don't know. But he's one of the biggest, if not. And he's been streaming for years. He's been doing YouTube videos for years. And he's massive. And Taliesin is claiming that whenever he talks about them or to them or watches the video, that they get thousands of hate DMs. And they basically said that he shouldn't be able to do that. He shouldn't be able to critique them, essentially. He shouldn't be able to, say that they're wrong or mention them or anything, because he's much bigger than they are, and that they view that as almost like bullying because they're such smaller than him. They called it punching down, or people have called it punching down, when a person with a very, very large audience mentions or talks about somebody with a much smaller audience. There's a potential there for abuse, I guess you would say, from their audience. Yeah. But we wanted to talk about this in a bit of a general sense. I don't really want to get into the whole Asmongold versus Taliesin thing, but I kind of want to talk about, is it okay for a large streamer or a large YouTuber or somebody with a large amount of influence? Is it okay for them to disagree or critique or talk about somebody smaller than them? What do you reckon?
I think that everyone should be open to critique from everyone, because it is a matter of opinions, and I think people should be able to put their opinions on the internet. It's one of the best things that the internet has been used for, in my opinion.
I mean, I agree. Twitter disagrees with you, but I agree.
I mean, this is the problem. Like, there's so much nowadays of like, you can have the opinion as long as it's the right one.
Yeah, definitely.
I don't like that culture, because if you can't question like stances on things, then it gets to a point where those stances can then be abused. And
yeah, well, there's a very big difference between attacking somebody and disagreeing with somebody, and that's something I think a lot of people need to learn. This, if I say I disagree with you, that's not the same as attacking. And by the way, we don't ever condone any YouTuber, streamer like sending their audience after anybody. Not saying Asmongold did this. I don't believe for a second he would do that, but we don't condone that at all. Like, anybody here watching this video, like, I don't agree with attacking any other person ever. So even if they're, a piece of shit human being, you don't have the right to attack them. I've always said this: attack ideals, not people. It's kind of a little slogan that I use on Twitch now and again. Don't attack the person, attack what they stand for. And I believe that. I do. Like, I think there's a big difference between attacking someone and disagreeing, however. And I feel like this notion that you can't, as they call it, punch down, you can't, bring attention to somebody smaller than you. Like, where does the line stop? Like, what if somebody has one less subscriber or one less follower than you? Like, can you not, sorry, there's like a bird just going crazy.
Did it like outside. Hit the wall? I heard like a banging noise, and I was like,
no, it's just,
and then you just like,
there's just a bird just like incessantly flapping its wings outside. It's gone now anyway.
It's trying to get your attention.
I know. It's an EA pigeon.
Spirit Quest.
Oh, I don't play Assassin's Creed very much. But yeah, there's I feel like the notion that they get thousands of hate DMs every time Asmongold's talk about, I think that's bollocks. I mean, sorry.
Asmongold on Twitter, as it stands at the point of filming, has basically 170,000 followers. So potentially, maybe, say 1% of his followers decide that they're like, yeah, we're going to hate mail these people. That is 1,000 messages.
Yeah.
And yeah, in any community, there is going to be assholes, because there's assholes in the world, and all of the people in the world belong to communities. That's just a fact of life. But I definitely, one of the things that I was going to hit on was what you said, like sicking your audience on people, and you having an opinion that you say to your audience, and then your audience responding to that, are two very different things.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. Like, well, the thing is, you can say to your audience, this person's garbage, go attack them. That's never okay. But you could, conversely, you could say to your audience, do not attack this person, and there'll always be one person that does it anyway. Like, you can't fully control your audience. You can tell them not to do something, and I think you should. I think if you're critiquing somebody live on Twitch and you're watching their video and you say, I disagree with this person, I think it should be fair that you go, don't go attack them though. Like, I just disagree. Like, you shouldn't have to say that, but knowing it's the internet, knowing you've got a large audience, I think you probably should just be like, guys, don't attack them, but I disagree with them. Like, there's a level of responsibility that I think you have as a large, influencer, if you want to use that term. But at the same time, you can't be fully held responsible for your audience, because no matter what you say, there will be somebody who goes, this person's garbage, I'm going to attack them. And they do that while they do it as well. They do.
I feel like one of the problems with Twitch, though, is like, say I'm on Twitch and I'm live and I'm criticizing something.
Yeah.
At least with like a YouTube video or a tweet or something, like the person can then go and just watch it. Whereas as it stands, like, so say you're doing it live on Twitch and you miss it, you have to like go into their VOD, find out in their, so like I've seen it, like Asmongold streams for hours and hours and hours. So if you're like, oh, they said something about me and it's not clipped, you have to then go and find the bit that they said, see exactly what the context was that like is causing these things. And like,
which, just in my opinion, don't do that. If somebody says shit about you, just ignore them. Like,
yeah,
even if you know what I mean, like if they're saying like harmful stuff and somebody brings that to your light, then yeah, report them, because that's against Twitch TOS. Which again, Asmongold, I do not believe is the kind of person that does that kind of thing. Whenever I've seen him, he can disagree with people and he will sit there and go, "This is bullshit. This is bollocks. I disagree with this." But I've never, in the years, I mean, again, I'm not a huge Asmongold fan. Like, I'll watch his stuff now and again. I don't really have an opinion on him either way. But I've never ever heard him say, "This human is garbage. Go give them shit." I've never heard it.
Yeah.
So
well, I mean, so this is the point. Say you get like 1,000 DMs. Like, say today I got like 1,000 messages on Twitter, which would be like ridiculously so out of like the norm for me.
Yeah.
I'd be like, okay, this doesn't come out of a void. Something has set it off. But I mean, I would take it upon myself to be like, okay, where has this come from? Where are these people's like? Are these people all the audience of something? Is there been something that's like happened recently? Because like, there's so many people nowadays that would be like, I mean, like this situation where they've basically gone like, Asmongold is bigger than me. He shouldn't be punching down. Effectively, like his audience are like chasing me down now. That's not really a fair thing to do to Asmongold. If he hasn't said to his audience, go and like hunt these people down, which if he said that, you would be getting way more than 1,000 DMs.
Exactly. And he would be banned from Twitch. That is a bannable
and
offense
exactly,
on Twitch,
and it's a TOS offense, and he would be banned from Twitch. But like, I would want to be like, okay, where has this come from? And then prospectively like approach that content creator in private and be like, look, here's a situation that's happened. I want to bring it to your attention. Unless, of course, I'm looking to just like have some nice buzz videos going on where I use a big creator's name.
There you go.
Throw it out. Which
there you go.
I'm not saying that's what they're doing.
No. But you're absolutely touched on a very, very good point.
My head would be at this path of action, and this other path of action only really makes sense if you're looking at certain things.
There is a lot of drama on Twitch and YouTube and Twitter and all combined together. And you're absolutely right. There are some people out there, and I'm not accusing anybody, but there are a lot of people out there that want the drama with bigger streamers and YouTubers because they want the clicks. And I'm not saying that Taliesin is doing that. I actually don't know these people. I don't watch their content. So I don't know if they would do that. I really don't know. But you're right. Like, if you are seriously, this is a serious thing, why would your first thing to be like, I'm going to go and tweet about it? Please retweet.
I'm going to do an open letter to the world, and I'm going to
because
this
let's be honest, right? This is the internet. This is the world. This is gamer internet as well, right? If you go on Twitter and say, guys, don't do this thing, what's the first thing that people are going to do? They're going to do the thing. Because that's how people are like. Well, they think they're hilarious. They want to be edgy. They want to be snowflakes. They want to do the opposite. They want to be a strong, independent Twitter user. So
I mean, we've all seen it works on Twitch. Guys, don't cheer because I've got scary alerts on. Dun dun dun.
Whoa! I feel personally attacked. I feel personally. Leave Scary Thursdays alone.
Well, yeah, you do. Wait, okay. Whatever. Wait, where you get people being like,
no, but you're absolutely right.
Donate more to me.
We've said this before. You get people on Twitch that do this kind of thing where they're like, "Oh no, please don't donate another $50. I might cry."
Just to defend myself from anyone that's like, "Well, that's fine because capitalism." I'm all for it. I support it as a marketing
but we can still critique it. That's the whole point. We're allowed to. We're allowed to critique it.
It is super obvious when you're doing it.
Yeah.
Everyone knows it's going
on. I love it
when
they say things like, "Oh, please don't donate," and then they look at the chat looking for the donate. Like, is there another one? Where is it? Like, do you know what I mean? Like, come on.
There must be a stream delay.
Yeah. No, I am. Whatever. Like, monetization on Twitch, a lot of people get really angry about it. Do what you want. If you don't want to donate to somebody, don't donate to somebody. No one's forcing anybody to do anything. So, but you're right. There's a lot of. I feel like there's definitely an element of people taking advantage of something here rather than there actually being a problem. I think thousands of DMs is I don't think that's true. Even with a massive audience like Asmongold, I don't think thousands a day is accurate. I think that's a bit of an embellishment. I think.
I feel like it's reasonable to be like, 1% of an audience is probably an ass.
Yeah, but even so, though, right? Just think about it, right? If that's true, everybody that's ever Asmongold has ever disagreed with or talked about must also have the same story. They must also get it. And as far as I'm aware, nobody else is coming forward and being like, yes, it happens to me too. So there's two scenarios here. Either somebody's lying. Sorry, somebody is embellishing. Don't want to get sued again. Someone's embellishing, or you know, maybe there's another link here. Maybe there's something here that means that they get shit for another reason.
Yeah.
Maybe I don't know. Maybe they're a drama channel. I really don't know. I don't know because I don't.
We were gunning into this topic like, yeah, we'll just talk about the general thing. We've definitely gone hard into the drama.
It's fine. Like again, like I say, I really don't. I don't wish any ill will to anybody. I've said this before. If they are getting thousands of hate DMs from Asmongold's community, then it needs sorting. You know, like that's not something that anybody should have to deal with. If this is real, then yeah, it's a problem and it needs to be fixed, because that's not fair for anybody. If you have to just sift through thousands of DMs, because not only are you going to miss good DMs, but like you can't block everybody, right? So I'm with them. I feel like there's more to this. I don't think that it's all entirely true. You know, and again, if it was, we'd have other people that have the same story, and I don't think anyone's come forward. So yeah, I don't know. I think you're right. I think there's probably an element of, I think we're going to capitalize on some news and drama, which again, fine, whatever, do what you want. I'm not, you know.
I've been about on the internet for a little while now. And we all know that like drama and stuff works.
Yeah.
Like, it does work.
It does. It does.
And like, I have no problem with that. Like, yeah, cool. Like, capitalize on the drama stuff. Like, I'm all for, if you want to grow your community, doing it. I mean, obviously not like in stupid ways, but if you're putting out content and people are enjoying that content and that content is drama based or whatever, then good for you.
It's kind of almost, if you think about it, it's almost like popular TV shows at the moment, like Love Island and things like that. It's kind of like that. If you think about it, that's what they are. They're just drama shows. So well, I mean, it's kind of the same sort of thing.
Have been caught out basically faking drama. Like they fake beef with each other because it lets them bounce off each other, and like effectively it's a really weird YouTube way of sharing.
Can we fake some drama?
I don't wanna.
Oh, why not?
I mean,
like right now. Can we fake some drama right now? Grr, you stole my Doritos. I don't know. Like,
is that because you have Doritos at your desk?
Yeah,
he showed me his snacks. And
yeah, I've got Doritos. I'm going to eat after this. Hashtag not sponsored by Doritos. Although I should be. I'm fat enough.
Should we start just reaching out to everything? For
well, I've just lost the Dorito sponsorship there because I've basically just implied that Doritos make you fat, which they do. Let's be fair. If you only eat Doritos, you are going to get fat.
I mean, eat enough gravel, you'll get fat. That's not true.
You just die. Don't eat gravel. Don't eat gravel. Do eat Doritos though. Sponsored. No, we're not. We're not sponsored. No, it's a joke.
Hashtag not sponsored.
It's a joke. Hashtag not sponsored. I actually applied for my first sponsorship today. Well, it's more of an affiliate ship, but
is it a secret?
I don't know. Am I legally allowed to say it? Like,
we'll talk about it off stream, off video. If there's a weird jump cut in a second, like you'll know what it is.
Like it's literally just the the Corsair affiliate program.
Oh yeah, I've seen.
I'm sure you're allowed to talk about that, right? Like I've only applied for it. I'm not even accepted yet.
I've seen people tweet that they've applied for it.
Yeah, I thought, why not?
Twisty got it recently.
Did he? I mean, I'm not saying that I like Corsair or anything. I'm not saying
And then he did a tweet being like, okay, now I'm on your affiliate program. Can you give me free stuff? And I was like, Twisty, I don't think that's how it works.
So you got different tiers on the Corsair one. You unlock different tiers, and you can unlock free stuff, but you got to get other tiers. Anyway, we're not sponsored by them. Maybe we will be.
I really like Corsair's products as well. And if you're ever at iSeries, Corsair do a daily raffle where they just give away free shit.
Again, we are not sponsored by Corsair.
I just think they're cool
talking about it. I like the products. For every Corsair product I've liked, which is not a lot, admittedly. But now Elgato's Corsair.
Oh, no, Twisty's done it with Razer. He's a Razer streamer now.
Oh, yeah, we're not allowed to legally talk about Razer. I'm joking.
Hashtag. Yeah, because of our impending Corsair sponsorship, we can't talk about Razer. I'm afraid.
Again, none of this content is sponsored. We're only making a joke. Corsair, please don't watch this. But on that topic,
Corsair, please watch this.
Yeah, actually, Corsair, watch my
It's
shit.
Corsair that made that stealth keyboard I was talking about earlier. The
mechanical. Yeah. Well, I was talking before the show when we did a Discord call. I was talking about that I want a new keyboard, and I'm looking at the Corsair one. So, but yeah, actually, on that topic, that brings me to a good sort of mini little topic that I thought about right now, which is talking about sponsorships. I've said this before. I think one of the reasons why I've never done a sponsorship yet is because I'm really picky that I'll only get sponsored by people that I like, or I will accept a sponsorship from a product, but I will never be positive about it if I don't like it, which a lot of sponsors I feel don't like that. I feel like if you're sponsored by them, they want you to say this is good, but I'll never say a product is good if I don't believe it is, it makes it really murky to get a sponsorship, doesn't it? Because if sponsorships are like, hey, you got to promote our brand, and I'm like, well, if it's good, I will. but if it's not, I won't. You know what I mean? That's not really, I don't know. I feel like it's a weird one.
My weird thing with it is, so like, say I got sponsored by a company, like I already say good things about the brands that I enjoy, but I wouldn't really want to do any more than that. Like if I was sponsored, like I wouldn't want to like really chill out. So I'm just like,
well, the thing for me is I feel like sponsorship should be a two-way benefit. If you're sponsoring a product that you actually enjoy, like if you're sponsoring something that you really like and you go, hey, I really like this product. Here, audience, I like it. You might like it too. And then if you buy it, I get some money and you've not lost anything because you're going to buy it anyway because it's a good product, then that should be a win-win. But we, in the world of influencers of YouTube and Twitch and Twitter and all this, there's so many gray areas. There's so many murky waters of people being like, hey, I really like this product. And then everyone's like, can you tell me about the product then? And they're like, I don't know. No. Don't use it. It's like, okay. It's like the G Fuel. Everybody on Twitter is like, hey, just drinking my G Fuel today. Hashtag G Fuel, @G Fuel, hashtag G Fuel. Please sponsor me.
Sneak's the one because it's UK based.
Sneak? What's Sneak?
Incoming Sneak sponsorship. It's basically the same thing. It's a powdered energy drink. All natural ingredients.
I stopped drinking energy drinks though because they make me feel like crap. I used to be a massive Monster fan. I used to have like probably one a day, and I had to stop drinking them because they make me feel like crap. There's my sponsor for Monster gone. Never getting sponsored by Monster, but they did. They made me feel like crap.
So Sneaker, as far as I'm aware, the only UK based like game of. Can you say game of fuel?
I don't know. Legalities.
What do they market themselves at? In-game energy.
In-game energy. That sounds like something EA's trying to sell. That sounds like something EA's going to sell. It's like, hey, if you want to do the next level, you need more in-game energy.
Yeah, my brother's a big Sneak fan. I haven't actually bought any of the products because I was going to go to his and try some, and then he ran out last time I was at his. So I was like, oh.
God damn, brother.
But they do a sponsorship as ambassadors.
Which is basically what Corsair does.
Yeah, basically.
But yeah, again, no sponsorships, no affiliation here. If anybody's watching this and being like, "Oh, you're a shill," I'm not sponsored by anybody, so I'm a free man.
I'm not getting paid for this.
I don't know. I kind of like. I'm really picky with sponsorships because I don't ever want to get into a situation where I lie to my audience. And I've said that I will never lie to my audience. I won't. I don't care how much money you're paying me. I won't lie to my audience. So if you ask me to lie, or if you say something and I disagree with that, I'll tell you I disagree. And if that means I lose a sponsorship, I lose the sponsorship. I don't care. I'm not the kind of person that will lie or promote a product that I don't enjoy myself. So, which, it makes it hard because at the same time, sponsorships can give people a lot of money in these career paths. And it is hard. It is one of those things where it's like you can keep your integrity or you can keep the internet on. It's like, which one do you want,
I feel like, because obviously the video gaming and YouTube, Twitch, stuff like that is like quite saturated. There is a lot of people making content and stuff.
Yeah.
So realistically, you're not even at the position anymore where companies can really start reaching out to you unless they specifically see you
unless you're massive, unless you blow up. Yeah.
But I would love to see. So say you wanted a sponsorship from a company that you don't really know the product of, potentially a system in place where it's like, yeah, sure, we'll send you a sample, and if you like it, we can sort you out with some kind of sponsorship that's more. Because you've already sampled us, it's kind of more heavy on more like the end of having a sales code or something that gives you a cut.
Yeah. Well, in the past,
sponsorship.
Sorry, that was my DX Racer chair. No, in the past, most sponsorships would be like, hey, we will send you this product, show you the product to your audience. And I feel like in the past as well, a lot more sponsorships were a lot more open, say what you want. Here's our product, do a review if you want, whatever. And now I feel like you're right. I feel like there are so many streamers and YouTubers out there, especially in gaming, that they're like, well, why would we send it to you when we could send it to, Ammunition or Asmongold or, you know what I mean? One of the big people. You're right. I feel like it's gone from being companies wanting to use content creators,
content creators reaching out to companies.
Yeah, it's gone the other way around now, where everyone's desperate to get the money from the company, so they're like, "Hey, sponsor me, please." And it's like,
you don't have to send me anything. I can just put your name on my thing, and then you retweet my tweets or something.
Which, by the way, because there's a lot of scam sponsorships out there. If a proper sponsor anyway, if a sponsor is asking you to buy their product, it's not a sponsor; it's an affiliate program. And nothing wrong with affiliate programs necessarily, but just
it's not a sponsorship.
It's not a sponsorship. Don't because a lot of I'm going to say smaller companies. A lot of smaller companies will say, we'll sponsor you. You have to say you're sponsored by us, but you have to buy our product. And it's like, no. If I'm saying I'm sponsored by you and I'm just displaying your branding on my site or on my Twitch panels or on my YouTube, whatever, then you're giving me stuff. That's how that works. That's how a sponsorship works. Otherwise, it's an affiliate link. And if it's an affiliate link, I'm not saying I'm sponsored by you. I'm not displaying your branding if it's an affiliate link. Like, no. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, I feel like a lot of smaller streamers get sort of roped into that and they think it's a good deal, but they're really they're being taken advantage of. So if you are a streamer,
you get a lot of small streamers who like they'll present like the logo and stuff on their stream. They do this whole like, oh, we're sponsored by such and such.
Yeah.
But anyone that like knows the business is that like, so say you try to join a community or something like that, and they look at your stream and you're going like, oh, I'm sponsored by this thing. Here's my link wherever you buy it. And like, I just bought a load of it. And you're going to end up with these communities going like, well, obviously you don't understand the worth of your content.
Yeah,
because
definitely
you've agreed to a sponsorship where you'll not losing out, but like you're not getting sponsored.
Yeah.
And so like, it's definitely a good thing to get clued up on.
100%. Yeah, exactly. And that's the way that, again, not promoting Corsair, but the way that the Corsair one works is it starts off as an affiliate and you can level it up to a sponsorship. And I think that's fine. It's a good system. Because as we said before, there's so many people wanting to do it that, you know, they should only really give the sponsors out to people that are going to benefit them as a company. So that makes sense. And I think it's a good system, but we'll see if I get accepted by it. If I say I hate it next week, I don't get accepted by it.
But no, I honestly, like I said, like at iSeries, the Corsair standard stuff, the staff that I've met there are always really friendly, things like that, like, and this is, I'm very much in the same boat as you. Like, I would want to know that the connection, the company that I'm connecting my brand to is a company that I like actually believe in, think is a good company, think they have the people working for them. Like, there's definitely, I think there's a lot of people who like, because getting sponsored seems like a big step in content creation. I think there's definitely people out there that if you've got an offer of sponsorship,
but I mean, a proper sponsorship is a big deal, because I mean they can be very lucrative. I mean, look at
sponsorship offered to you.
I mean, look at you know, people like Dr. Disrespect and Ninja. I mean, look at the money they make from sponsorships. They're very lucrative deals. I mean, of course, you know, they're the top creators with massive audiences, but still, you know, there's a lot of money to be made, and I think that's what a lot of people are chasing, but they end up getting like we say, an affiliate, which is, you know, an affiliate. If nothing wrong with affiliate links either, by the way. I'm not bashing affiliate links, you know, like affiliate links can be very useful for some people, but it's not the same thing. You're not sponsored if you're displaying an affiliate link. If you're buying the product, you're not sponsored. So it kind of ties into games as well. I've never yet approached a video game company and been like, hey, can I have a review copy? And I think that's something, as I get more into YouTube reviews and things like that, I think I'm going to start looking for those, because it's another thing. You've got to be very careful. Anybody who knows me knows that I will never say I like a game if I don't. Like, I critique games. I always do. Even when I'm live on Twitch, I'm like, hey, I like this mechanic, or hey, I don't like this mechanic. I was complaining about Visage the other day. I was really enjoying Visage Chapter 2, as we talked about earlier. Really enjoying it. And in the middle of me enjoying it, I was like, why are all these drawers empty? Why did you code the drawers into the games when they're empty? This is a bugbear of mine, by the way.
I loved it. I thought it was good, mostly because I wasn't playing.
I have these little things that I just don't like, right? And that's one of them, is when you put all these drawers in a game and you open them, there's nothing in any of them. I'm like,
but would you rather, I'd rather, like, if there were a load of drawers and you can't open them, I'd be like, why can't I open all these drawers?
Yeah, but you don't think about it. When you go into a room and there's a load of drawers that you can't open, you don't even think about it. You don't acknowledge it.
If I'm in a game where you can open drawers, I want to be able to open any drawer that's kicking.
Yeah, but then you open 20 drawers and there's nothing in them. You just wasted 30 seconds of your life that you could have spent. I don't know.
But like, I'd rather be like in a game where it's like, yeah, you can open and close doors, you can open drawers, you can open cupboards, and then
this is why you like House Flipper, isn't it?
Yeah, but like, I'd rather get like 5 minutes into a game and be like, okay, cool, I've checked like a billion drawers and there's nothing in them. I'm just gonna stop checking drawers until like you get into a room where it's like, oh, there's maybe something in a drawer. And then I just
don't see the point. Like, why did you take time to code that in? You could have coded anything. Like, why do empty drawers? I don't get it.
Can you code it once and then copy and paste? I don't code stuff.
Probably. So I don't know either. Probably. I'll ask Damascus, but I don't know. But yeah, my point was... I
like it.
Yeah, my point was is that I don't, you know, I struggle with the idea of approaching a company and being like, can I have a review copy of your game? Because I don't worry about it, but I feel like if I get a review copy of their game and I'm playing their game and I go, this is bullshit, I don't like this bit's crap, or, you know, this mechanic is worthless or whatever, then I feel like that company is going to turn around and go like, Why did we send you a review copy then? And it's this really murky area where it's like, no. Just because you sent me a free copy of the game, I'm not going to say it's good when it's not. You know, conversely, I'm not going to say it's bad when it's not. I'm not going to be there going like, oh, this game is crap. But
I mean,
there's a real fine line.
I mean, for you personally, if you reach out to a company and you're saying like, my brand is around being critical about games. I've always said, and my audience are very aware of the fact that I will always say exactly what my opinion is.
Yeah.
Could I have a review copy of your game? And you're going to have an audience that knows what you're saying. So like your audience is going to know that you're not going like, oh, this is a sponsored video, so I'm going to sugarcoat it.
Yeah.
Like it's going to be your honest opinion.
Yeah. I don't care how much you're paying me. I'm going to say what I believe, what I think.
If you're confident in your game, surely that's what you want. Like it's all well and good to have this huge audience of people that half of them are going to be like, well, are they just saying that because they're sponsored? Like they got a free copy of the game. And
what about all those people that got the, all those YouTubers that got sent Fallout 76 with all the goodies, you know, with all the canvas bags that they got? What about all of those? So this is what I'm saying. Like they were being really happy and excited, opening their goodie bags on YouTube and stream and whatever. And people were like, yay. And then they bought the game and it was garbage. Do you see what I'm saying? There's like an element here of what do you do as that YouTuber?
Well, I mean,
what do you do if you were the guy being like, yay, free stuff from Bethesda, and then a week later everyone hates the game? What do you do? Do you sit there and go, but yay, or do you go,
if it's just a review copy and then I've gotten like a thing, I suppose you're just like, well, it's kind of fucking bullshit that we got the good stuff before everyone else to make people want to get it, and then they don't get it. Which, yeah, Bethesda aren't going to work with me again, but let's be honest, if I get review copies of anything, it's probably not going to be Bethesda.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. I know big YouTubers in the past have talked about getting blacklisted. Angry Joe is a really good example of that. He's got a massive audience and he's been blacklisted from companies because he said, you know, this is bullshit about certain game mechanics and microtransactions and things like that. And so he knows he's been blacklisted from companies, which for me just is so shady. It's like, hey, you said a bad thing about our game, we're going to blacklist you. That's
just a risky run though, like being critical of games nowadays. Because no one wants people, like people want people to review their games well. No one wants bad reviews.
Of course they don't. But my argument to that is we'll make a good game then.
Yeah.
You
but
know,
then
like...
companies that make good games aren't fussed about people who review things like actually critically because they're making good games.
Yeah.
So all you're
100%.
doing by getting blacklisted from these companies, all you're doing is making sure that you never take a sponsorship from a shady company.
Yeah. Which, by the way, there's a real difference between just shitting on stuff and being part of the hate train, as people like to call it, and actually being critical. Because I feel like most critical people, myself included, want the game to be better. You know, when I say Fallout 76 is a pile of trash, I wanted it to be a good game. Like I love Fallout. I would have loved a really good Fallout online game, but it wasn't. So I'm not going to say it's good when it's not. And I feel like there's a big difference. A lot of people definitely do, and I agree with this. A lot of people definitely do just ride the negative press because it gets more clicks. And there's definitely an element of that. And I think we're seeing some of that recently on YouTube where people are like, what can we shit on today? But at the same time, it's hard to be positive now in the video game industry. It's hard. It's hard to find the positives when every game's coming out. Well, not every game, but many games are coming out broken, buggy, or full of microtransactions, or with you know, certain stipulations to the game. It's like, well, it's fun, but, you know, it's good, but. And I feel like it is really hard to be ultra positive. I mean, I used to get super excited on launch day games. I'd pre-order. I'd, you know, if I could. I mean, I've in the past even taken like weeks off work for game releases. You know, so like, I don't get that excited anymore because I'm like, well, the game's probably going to be good, but might not. You know what I mean? And it's like, it's hard when you're trying to promote a game and you're trying to be fair to the game, but a lot of games are just really dropping their standards, you know, especially AAA. It's a really, I don't know. I don't like this, by the way. I don't like being the grumpy Brit, you know. I don't like this era of the gaming industry. Like, I want this to end. I want it to go back to being just good games again. You know, I liked the hype of E3 when games were good and we had all the corporate bollocks and everyone was like, yay, hype for video games, pre-order now. Like, I liked all of that culture when the games were good. But now every game pretty much seems to be just disappointing or worse. I hate it. I hate it, man.
My problem is, so like, there's a reason that you critique games and I don't really do it. Like, honestly, if something just like keeps me occupied for a bit, I'm like, yeah, it's fine. Like, I mean, I can be critical of like, if something is really bad, I'm like, this is really bad. But like, I'm way less critical than you are. Like, I'll play it. This is why I sit and play House Flipper. You were like, it's the same mechanic like 4 different times.
It was. Hold left click. That's what
like,
what House Flipper was. Hold
the
left click.
radiator on the wall. Like,
but again, just because I didn't like House Flipper doesn't mean that everybody's not gonna, like House Flipper. That's the whole point. Is I give you my opinion on it. I'm like, I find holding left click to do everything really boring, but you might not. That's the whole point of critiquing games. And one of the reasons I started critiquing them in the first place is because I didn't want people to get burnt like I did. With games like Alien Colonial Marines. And I don't want people to buy games like Fallout 76 and go, God damn it, I've just wasted $60. I've just wasted £50. I don't want that to happen. And that's why I critique games. Because I go, if I'm going to buy a game on launch day and I'm going to stream it, you need to know, is it worth your money or not? You need to know, does it have acceptable mechanics or acceptable microtransactions or not? You need to know that. I feel like you do anyway. That's why I started critiquing them. And again, now that I have a real job, that's not my Twitch job, a job, I'm going to start buying the new releases and maybe review them. Again, I would love to do review copies, but we'll see. But yeah, it's a hard one. It's hard to be positive in this industry now. And I would love nothing more to be positive. I mean, I don't know what I'd change my handle to. The Grumpy Brit, what could we change it to? The
Critical Brit.
I really like the Critical Brit though.
We had this conversation before and I like it.
Yeah. So for anybody who doesn't know, I actually I feel like it's fair to say that a more accurate description of me is the Critical Brit rather than the Grumpy Brit. But two problems with that. One, the Critical Brit is a bit too close to the Cynical Brit. And we know that I take a large inspiration from Total Biscuit, but also, I'm my own guy, right? I'm not like, I don't want to be a copy of him. Like, I would never be a copy of him. I'd never be half that good. But I'm like my own man, but also everyone calls me Grumpy. So if I change my name to the Critical Brit, everyone would be like, well, what do I call you now? Crit?
If you change it to Critical Brit, I'm still going to call you Grumpy.
That's what I'm saying, which is fine. But then you get new people on my stream being like, why are you calling him Grumpy? But then everyone comes into my stream and like, you're not Grumpy, this is false advertising.
He's a grouchy old man. Yeah. But also, Critical Brit sounds like Critical Hit. I like it.
That's why I like it.
We've had this conversation.
Oh man, I really want to change it. I want to see if it's taken, but then I have to change it on Twitch, YouTube, Twitter, everything. But I've already changed it once.
I want to get rid of the UK on my name. But
yeah.
I was having a chat with a partner, and apparently, if someone else has had a Twitch name and they got banned from Twitch, Twitch just locks down that name forever.
Oh really?
So I'm just like, what?
So they're still on the system as being banned. That makes sense, because then they could remake an account, couldn't they?
It keeps me in the back door.
So Blindside got banned is what you're saying. Drama here first. You heard it here on the Grumpy Gaming Weekend podcast. Blindside got banned on Twitch.
I tried searching like Blindside ban, Blindside Twitch ban, Blindside Twitch videos, Blindside, and I can't find anything, and I'm just like, eh. But the same partner also denied that Twitch holds cool names, which was one of the theories that someone had said at Twitch London. Someone was like, Twitch hold on to like the cooler names and like the short names and stuff like that. And if you become big enough, they're like, okay, yeah, cool, you can have that name that you wanted.
I don't feel that's true. I feel like that would cause so much drama if that was.
It felt very conspiracy theory, and then I was chatting to a partner about it, and she was like, "That's nonsense."
Yeah,
and I was like, I just heard it because I was talking to someone about it, like literally the week of Twitch London, like after it. And I was like, I heard this thing in Twitch London because I've been trying to get rid of the UK in my name. And they were like, no, that's nonsense. Yeah. And then she basically was like, if you get banned, your name is just held forever. And I was like, oh dear. But I wish they'd do a list or something where it's just like, here are names that no one can ever use.
They can't do a banned list. That would be so like...
Or like a service that's like this. Because at the moment, it just says like, that name's not available. It doesn't say why or how long for.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of the UK on my name.
To be fair though, I'm sure when I first tried to change my name that the Grumpy Brit was taken, and then it, it was still held, and then I'm sure the second time I tried it, it worked.
Well, if someone just deletes their account, it opens back up.
No, but they hold it for a while.
6 months, I think.
Something like that, yeah.
They hold it for a while. I've been trying to get Blindside for like months.
Yeah.
So I'm like, the 6
just
months.
Just email Twitch and be like, take the UK off. Say, I don't want to be part of the UK. Brexit's too heartbreaking.
I kind of don't want to be that guy that gets hold of Twitch being like, yeah, I want this name.
To be fair, they literally have a thing saying like, don't contact us because we're not going to do that. So
yeah,
don't waste your time. Don't waste your breath. But that's
I'll do it on the stream.
Yeah, fair. That's pretty much all the topics we have for this week. Do you have anything else you want to talk about? We're coming up towards the end of the show.
There's something else. I don't know if you want to talk about it.
That's what it is.
Elliott threw a cat on the stream and everyone's angry about it. It literally happened like today.
That's happened before with another streamer and they got a temp ban.
Well, animal abuse. There's a lot of people on Twitter being like,
When you say like throw, what do you mean like throw? Like across the room or like
she's playing
onto
Apex
the bed?
Legends.
Like
Right, she's playing Apex Legends. The cat comes across on her desk and like obviously she's playing. She literally grabs it and just goes like that. Like
that's not okay. Like I'll like, you know, gently throw. If I pick my cat up, I like gently throw him onto the bed, like kind of thing.
I mean,
but like
cats, you can like this is the difference between cats and dogs. If you're holding a cat like up here and you're holding a dog up here, with a cat, you can just let go. The cat will be fine.
No,
dogs,
okay.
don't do that.
Cats have broken legs and things before. Like they're not.
What?
Yeah,
I thought cats were pretty springy.
Yeah, generally they are, like, but it's like anything. If they fall on it dodgily, like if they fall on it, you know,
they fall on dodgily, I suppose.
Yeah,
there's like a distance of falling.
Let's just think about it. How does that cat feel? A cat just says hello to its owner and just gets thrown across the room. Like, no.
Well, yeah, don't.
It's not okay.
Cats.
I have a cat. I wouldn't do that.
Cats. I don't have a cat. I'm allergic to them.
Hashtag justice for cats.
Yeah. So at the moment, like literally, I opened up Twitter to look up Asmongold's following, and like just I saw 3 or 4 tweets that were just like, what the hell's going on Linity, like Twitch TOS, like that kind of thing.
Yeah, animal abuse is massively
boy.
TOS. Like,
she also drank straight from a vodka bottle and then let the cat drink it from her mouth. But vodka is toxic to cats.
Well, vodka's toxic to humans too.
Well,
but like,
yeah, vodka is just toxic. But
people are weird, mate. I'd like okay, even just ignoring the whole like let's do something funny on Twitter for Twitch, sorry, for views or whatever. Like people are fucking weird. Why would you do that? Like, don't be weird. Just be normal. Like, just be normal. Have you tried that? Like, be normal.
Especially when you have an audience that size. But
people are just, I don't know.
This is why I was like, I don't know if you want to talk about this because this is more just along the lines of like, oh my god, Twitch streamer does.
We are now a Twitch drama channel. Thanks, Elliott. Appreciate it.
We
miss Taylor for 1 week, and this is what becomes of us. We go off the rails.
Look, I'm Jimmy Neutroning again.
I'm gonna make Taylor watch this episode because she admitted that she doesn't watch the episodes, which I think is just sacrilege. But I'm gonna make her watch this episode.
You're not in. I mean, I generally just run them in the background.
I watch my podcast. I enjoy the podcast. I really enjoy it.
The first few episodes I definitely did, but I'm just busier now. I don't have 2 hours.
Yeah, that guys. They don't even support my dreams anymore. They don't even.
I'm supporting your dreams. I'm giving you the views, and I always comment and like.
Speaking of commenting, liking, and watching, if you guys have enjoyed the podcast this week, please leave a like. Leave us a comment as well. There was a couple of points we wanted to talk about in the comments. I can't remember what it was. Just spam some shit.
Comment below. Should we yeet cats across rooms?
Yeah, definitely not though. But comment that because if you say yeah, I'm gonna have to ban you. So
just comment no.
Everyone just comment no.
The word
no. Just the word no. Yeah, I really do appreciate it. But thank you so much for watching, guys. What have you got coming up on your channel this week, Elliott?
Oh wait, I was gonna announce the stream that I'm doing tomorrow, but this will be out by the time I've done that. Earlier today on the video release, on Saturday did a couch co-op stream with some friends, and we all sat around and played. Insert game here.
What if that doesn't happen now? You're beholden to it.
No, it's already happening.
People, yeah, but you don't know. What if all people in your couch are like, yeah, we can't make it, and now people are going to go to your VOD to watch it, and they're going to be so disappointed that they unfollow you. That's what's going to happen.
I know that I've got at least 3 people. The worst bit is I think I may have more than that, and I'm just like, oh no.
I'll have a party.
Also, the fact that I haven't, like, I keep saying I need to studio check my lounge to see whether the mic and stuff will work in there. Haven't done that yet, so probably going to be rife with tech issues.
I mean, it is anyway, so nothing new there, really.
That's very true. Every time we go on to record the podcast, it's like, are you aware that your mic's shit? Yeah,
I can't say anything. I've had tech difficulties all week. Crash, I had microphone issues. Conan Exiles, I had 2 crashes because my video card ran out of memory. It's a 1080, guys. It's a 1080. And then on Visage, the game was crashing constantly. But it is an early access, but yeah. So I've had technical difficulties all week. I can't say shit. But please continue.
Yeah, so I've got that. And then Monday and Wednesday, I've been playing Assassin's Creed Origins. I'm really enjoying it. It's a good game.
It was all right. I've
been pre-warned that towards the end, it gets very rinse repeat.
Yeah.
And if it does that, I might just be like,
cool with talk about that topic.
Rinse and repeat.
No, Assassin's Creed. What's one after Origins? Odyssey.
Odyssey.
Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Did you hear about the? Sorry, segue into a complete mini topic. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. Did you hear about that? They've opened up the thing so people can make their own missions and stuff. Yeah. And one of the first things they did was make really easy missions that give you lots of XP. And Ubisoft was like, this is exploitation. Even though they literally sell an XP boost on the goddamn store.
Why would you let them set the reward at whatever they want? have the rewards calculated by like, what are you fighting? How long does it? Oh, fucking.
Because they're douchebags. But they literally said, right, this is exploiting game mechanics and it's not fair. And people have been like, well, hang on a minute, you sell an XP boost, so that's okay though. And they're like, oh, that's different. How is it?
I did go look in the store for Assassin's Creed Origins. Just like, really, you can just buy end game gear, XP, all this, and I was like, why?
Yeah.
Because it means there's going to be a random grind in the middle.
Yeah. Well, this is exactly what's happened with Odyssey. They've made the game grindy, so you are pressured into buying the XP boost. So when people made their own missions to make it easier, to make the game more fun, they said, no, how dare you make the game fun? We made it unfun on purpose, you bastards.
They already did this once with Mordor Shadow of War.
Yeah.
Which was another game that they made,
yeah.
where everyone complained because there was microtransactions with XP boosts and gear boosts and stuff like that. And then there was just this art. There was literally just a bit in the middle where there's no missions and stuff. And it was like, yeah, your next story mission, you have to be 20 levels higher. And everyone was like, wait, you've clearly done this deliberately.
Yeah. Companies do. They make games, like, they're making games worse on purpose to sell you the solution. We literally said this earlier. They make a problem to sell you the solution.
Like, they literally took it out of the game and then they put it into Odyssey. Like, just why?
Because they will never stop. Because as long as they can get away with it, they will. Anyway, that was just a really quick segue because we were ending the podcast.
We're ending the podcast Monday and Wednesday, 1 o'clock British time. I'm going to be playing Assassin's Creed Origins. And then on Friday, I will be playing, also at 1 o'clock, I will be playing Detroit Become Human because I'm not doing Detroit Become Human this week because I'm doing a couch co-op and I don't want to go into the middle of a story game.
Fair. And where can people find you?
Where we are. You can find me on Twitch at twitch.tv/blindside UK. You can also find me on Twitter at blindside_UK. I got a TikTok. Should I push my TikTok?
If you want, go ahead.
I don't even know what the username is. It allocates you one. I was like, what the hell? Have you used TikTok?
No.
It's a mess, honestly. I kind of love it.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a state. No, don't start playing stuff.
Well, while you're thinking of your...
UK57.
There we go. Don't reveal personal info.
Please.
Good shit.
Well,
yeah.
The fact that there's a group chat up and the picture of the group chat is my face.
I know. Wow. Love yourself much. But anyway, you've already found my YouTube channel if you've watched this video. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you want more live streams, well, if you want any live, this isn't a live stream. So if you want some live streams, you can find me at twitch.tv/TheGrumpyBrit for now, in case I change it. And this is my YouTube channel, and everything else I don't give a shit about. I stopped promoting my Twitter. I don't care about it. So thank you very much for watching, everybody. If you have if you have enjoyed this video, please like it. I'm going to go to bed, and I'll see you all next time. Bye.
Bye.
Amazing. Wow. Jinx. Well, that's staying in now. That was great.